Johnson City, Tennessee was founded as Johnson Station back in the 1850s, a railway stop between Knoxville and the state of Virginia. Now a crop of young baseball standouts hoping to make it a stop along their journey to professional baseball. It's the site of the 4th annual Appalachian League All-Star Game, the Appy League becoming a premier summer baseball experience for collegiate players. Welcome inside TVA Credit Union Park, home of the Appy League's Johnson City Doughboys. I'm Tim McMaster, along with former Major Leaguer Rick Ankiel, who played some baseball here back in the day, and also Sam Dykstra. Let's start with you, Rick. This is a chance to see some great young players in a game where the headlights are really on them.
Yeah, you know, it's a neat opportunity for these guys to get extra reps, come in here, work on your skill sets, not worry and take it like it's a showcase, but really try to get better at different things.
The league has really grown in the 4 years that we've done this All-Star game since we first broadcast in 2021. There's officially a first-round pick who was an Appy League alumni in Kalen Culpepper, who was taken 21st overall by the Twins. We might have multiple first-rounders on the field here today.
We've been doing this game for 4 years, but the Appy League is a lot older than that. It dates back to 1911. That was when the first establishment of the league was. A lot of the same cities still playing baseball, but for the last 4 seasons, it's had a new role. Part of the prospect development pipeline. It's a collegiate summer league featuring wood bats, exciting prospects with a focus on development. And one player who's had a lot of focus on him this week, Rentaro Sasaki, the 19-year-old Japanese-born player, passed on the draft in Japan to come stateside and play for Stanford next spring. You've had a glimpse at him, Rick. What do you think?
I'm impressed. It takes courage to go ahead and take the road less traveled. He's come to the U.S., as you said, going to take on Stanford. Try to be a student athlete. That's a lot to take on, but the power is unforgettable. That's what he reminds me of. Bryce Harper gets that load like that. I've seen him in BP. Now I'm excited to see him take on the game.
And it's that power that gives him first-round upside. We'll see how it's going to work out. He's draft eligible in 2026. We don't have to wait 3 years to see where he's going to go. He is first base only. There are some questions about how he handles velocity. He gets a chance to answer those questions in tonight's game.
Well, that's enough of us talking about Sasaki. Let's hear from him. The 4th member of our team, Brett Dolan, sat down with him earlier today.
I'm here with Rentaro Sasaki and the assistants of Chihiro, and you've had a chance to play this year in Trenton and now in the Appy League. How has it helped prepare you for Stanford and college baseball?
そうですね。まあその大学のシーズンまだ経験してないので、ただこっち来てサマーボールを約1ヶ月ちょっと今過ごしてますけど、本当に充実した生活ができてると思ってますし、本当にいろんな経験ができてて、自分にとってすごい大きい時間なのかなというふうに思ってます。はい。
So I haven't had the experience of college baseball yet, but it's been about a month since I've been experiencing summer ball, and I think it's been a really good, helpful experience for me in development as a player.
I think everybody wants to know why it was important for you to come to the U.S. rather than maybe playing in Japan or getting drafted. Why did you want to come to the States?
私自身の最終的なゴールはここでこっちの大リーグでやるっていうのが一番の夢でもありますし、野球の人生と野球以外の人生も考えて一番自分自身に合った選択肢はこのアメリカの大学に進むっていうことであって、それが一番の大きい理由かなというふうに思ってます。はい。
So it's always been my dream to play here in the U.S., and that was always a big goal of mine. And thinking of both my career with baseball and also after baseball, I thought that getting an education here and being in the U.S. would be the best choice for me.
In high school, your dad was your coach. He also coached Shohei Ohtani. You broke Shohei's record with 140 home runs. What has your dad told you about Shohei's desire to be great and the work that he's put in to be great?
自分自身その記録を更新したとかっていうのも全然今気にしてることでもないですし、一個自分自身のその自信っていうかポテンシャルになってますし、父親にも全然その高校時代のその能力的なものでも全然翔平さんより私は全然下だっていうふうにずっと言われてたので。
So my dad has always said that I was beneath Shohei's level, so yeah, he's never really compared me to him. So, but regarding my record in Japan, it's just giving me self-confidence. But I don't think about that on the day-to-day, and I'm just looking forward to developing myself for the future.
All right, East Tennessee is a long ways from Japan. Do you miss home? What do you miss about being in Japan and being here in the U.S. this summer?
なんですかね。まあ基本的にあんまりミスしてるものないかなっていうふうに思ってますけど、まあ一個になるやっぱ食事、日本食はすごい恋しいかなっていうふうに思ってますね。
So I don't particularly miss anything, but if I had to pick one thing, I'd say the food. I'd miss Japanese food.
I like that a lot. Guys, it's going to be fun to watch this baseball journey going forward. Tim, back to you.
Sasaki will bat sixth in the bottom of the first inning for the West Squad. We will have baseball after this short break. Welcome back to Johnson City, home of the Doughboys here in the Appalachian League. It's the 2024 Appalachian League All-Star Game. The East team against the West. We are about ready to play baseball. There was rumors of storms and rain all day, but they never came, and now it looks like we're going to have a clear night of baseball ahead of us. Should be a good one. Let's take a look first at the lineup for this East squad. Kevin Jones is going to lead things off for the team, and then it'll be Michael Rodriguez after him. Here's the infield. Players to watch: Gunnar Borey, Brody Johnston, Jaden Lobliner, and Logan Poteet around the infield. Keep an eye on those guys.
I'm really excited to see Brody Johnston of that group. He's somebody who was highly recruited out of high school. Some considered him the best prep player in Tennessee ranks. He's going to Vanderbilt next season. You watch him at third base. He plays a really good third base, really strong thrower over there. We saw him last night in the home run derby. It's power that already plays. When we showed up here to Johnson City, I was kind of expecting to find him and have him stand out as a high school guy amongst college guys. He stands out, but in a positive way. He looks extremely physical compared to these other folks. I think Brody Johnston will definitely be somebody to watch here for this West team.
All right, I mentioned the lineup for the East squad. Here it is. Kevin Jones will lead things off, and then it's Michael Rodriguez after him. Callan Moss, a big hitting first baseman after that. Then Alec DiMartino, Cole Johnson, Logan Poteet, Noah Smith, Alexander Wright, and Addison Smith. On the hill, it's Jacob Goldston for the West.
Jacob Goldston, 6'6". He was a 17th round pick by Milwaukee in 2023. Didn't have a lot of his success this year at Oklahoma, only recorded one out. But in terms of stuff, he has a fastball that tops out at 95. It's a sinker that's around 92 generally with 19 to 21 inches of tail, so expect that to break to the arm side. He's got an upper 70s slider that gets a ton of whiffs with late movement and also an 80 to 84 mile an hour changeup.
All right, a little discussion going on with the umpire down the first base line as the stare-off continues here. There's an umpire with each of the players standing down.
Who's going to cave first?
Rick, were you ever a part of one of these?
No.
No.
This trend started after I got done playing. Who are you guys going to – we had to bet. Who are you going to bet on? Who leaves first?
Oh, boy.
I'm saying 35 leaves first. The guy on first. Just because the hitter has to run that way.
I was going to – that is a good way of putting it, yeah. Although Seven's also in the direct line of fire. It's a right-handed batter. If he pulls one, he's getting one right in the body.
The umpire's going to say play.
They're trying. The umpire's walking back down the third base line to have a little chat, try to convince him that, hey, we got to play some baseball here. Meanwhile, Jacob Goldston continuing to warm up. I think if you're Goldston, you tell your teammate, hey, man, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, at this point, you're messing with his routine and his rhythm. Get him out of there.
And here come the manager, or the coaches, to drag the players off the field. And there you have it. The Fly Boys win this round. And we are ready for baseball. Kevin Jones stepping in for the East squad. Infielder playing for Pulaski this summer. Out of Rollsville, plays for UNC Wilmington. And Goldston quickly ahead 0-1. There's the average numbers this summer for Jones: 264, a couple of home runs, 15 RBIs. And that's down and low for ball one.
That was a good slider. Started right where that first fastball started. Hitter did a good job of taking it.
That's in there for strike two. Goldston, that long, lanky frame, you can see why Major League teams interested in. If you can fill in, that's the type of pitcher that's going to be able to do things.
Well, he's went away twice. He's got him set up for a slider that starts down the middle and breaks off the plate.
2-2 pitch, bounce to the left side. The shortstop, Swinney, has it, throws across the diamond, and quickly one away here in the 2024 Appy League All-Star Game.
one thing we should note here is that it's artificial turf on the infield. So we're going to see a lot of bouncy plays like that one was to Swinney at shortstop. They're going to have to be athletes to handle some of these sharply hit balls on the infield. Yeah, we asked Coach Kevin Mahoney about just how the field plays in general. We were actually referencing the outfield walls, I think, a little bit, and he just said it's fast. Oh, it's fouled off at home plate, 0-1. Here's Michael Rodriguez playing for Tri-State this summer from Pembroke Pines, Florida. Plays for Bethune-Cookman. Cousins with Wallene Rosario, who's played for the Rockies in the big leagues. Bouncing ball to the right side. Chase Boomer has it. He flips over to first base and 2 away. What are you seeing from Golston so far?
Strikes. Yeah, coming out being aggressive.
Here's Michael Callan Ross. Goes by Callan Ross. We'll call him that for the rest of the day. He is your 2024 Appy League All-Star Game Home Run Derby champion. Put on a show last night. He was absolutely taking aim at left center and just hitting rocket after rocket after rocket. He hits that one out to right field, and it's off the wall. He'll try to plug it. Nope. He'll hold up and go back to first base.
As far as raw power goes, he reminds me of Willie Mopena. He got jammed right there on that pitch and still hit it off the right field wall.
I honestly thought that was going to be a flare right into the basket of the right fielder's glove, and somehow that ends up scrapping the wall. It had an exit velocity of 94.9 miles an hour. Anything above 95 is considered hard hit, so that was right on the edge. But again, that looked like a flare, and it was close to being considered hard hit.
You saw he swung so hard, he lost his balance a little bit. That may have actually cost him a double.
As strong as he is, I mean, that's, you know, he got jammed. He still would fall.
Here's Alec DiMartino.
Alec DiMartino leads the league with a 408 average, of 517 on base percentage, and a 676 slugging percentage. That, of course, also means he leads the league with a 1.193 OPS. He would be the Appy League /line Triple Crown winner if the season ended today.
He reminds me of a right-handed Juan Soto, where he starts with his weight sort of forward, but once he makes his move back, he just spins on that back leg, stays in it well.
Ducks out of the way of that one. It's 1-1. He has 5 home runs this summer. Moss with 4 down there at first base. So plenty of pop in the middle of this East squad lineup.
Here's the stance here, and you can see once he makes his move back, he stays back there, which gives him a really good ability to see the ball deep.
And he takes that one on the shoulder, and we'll head down to first base. So after getting the first 2 batters on 2 easy ground balls, Golston in some trouble here after the tough luck single in a sense. It was a good pitch to Moss, and then the hit by pitch, and we have first and second, 2 outs. That'll bring up Cole Johnson.
Cole Johnson stands in the box at 6'5". He's been batting .330 with a .446 on base percentage, .491 slug. He's got 12 doubles. He's tied for second in the league in extra base hits. He leads the league with those 12 doubles.
That one's over, strike 1.
Nice job by the pitcher. He was 4 for 4 in first pitch strikes, and on the first pitch there with runners in scoring position, you see he did try to shoot one, pitch one on the edge and see if he could get the hitter fishing.
1-1 pitch. That's in there for strike 2.
There's that slider we were talking about before from Golston. Just a really good breaker. You could see Johnson kind of freezing a little bit, thinking he was going to be on the inside. Goes right down the middle.
Started out high, so now he's got him set up for that high fastball if he wants to go to it.
He spoils that one. He'll do it again, 1-2. Johnson's walk-up song at Oklahoma State. All my exes live in Texas.
Another guy with a lot of pop that got displayed last night during Home Run Derby.
And he gets him to chase. Nice pitch to get out of trouble by Jacob Golston. So he gets 2 quick outs, then gets into a little bit of trouble, but a nice punch out to get out of trouble. And we are headed to the bottom of the first inning. Still scoreless here in the Appy League All-Star game. Scoreless here in the Appalachian League All-Star Game. Bottom of the first inning. Here's your lineup for the West squad. Chase Bloomer will lead things off at second base. It's Brody Johnson over at third. Then Gunnar Borey, the designated hitter. Cal Sefcik out in left field. Mason Swinney, the shortstop. Rintaro Sasaki, we've talked a lot about him already at first base. Then Brady Francisco catching. Christian Toledo in right. And Dylan Mass in center field. And that's the lineup that will face Tristan McGregor on the mound for the East team.
Tristan McGregor made 15 appearances as a freshman this year with a 6.62 ERA, but he did strike out 43 batters in 35 1/3 innings. He's been really good in the Appy League with a 1.78 ERA, 28 strikeouts and 30 1/3. He's the only guy in this league to throw a complete game. That was 7 innings a few weeks back. He's got a fastball that averages only 86 miles an hour, an upper 70s changeup, a slider around 78 to 82. He also has a curveball. So it's a deep pitch mix that I think has made him pretty effective here in the Appy League.
And the complete game is surprising, obviously, in this type of a league and everything. And you said it was 7 innings, but still it says something probably about what his coaching staff thinks about him, too.
Yeah, agreed. When you see somebody featuring velo that's not in the top velo, you know he's throwing strikes and moving it around if he's able to throw a complete game.
That's what you need to do, even at this level.
Chase Bloomer, first pitch swinging. He's playing for Johnson City, so right at home here tonight out of Ottawa, Kansas. Played at Southern Illinois, heading to Edwardsville. He'll send that one out to right field. Back goes the right fielder, DiMartino. He has it one away. We'll see the defensive set behind McGregor. It is right out in center field. Alexander Wright, Michael Rodriguez to his right, and then Alec DiMartino to the right. You just saw him make that play. Around the infield, a pair of Smiths on the left with Noah at third base, Addison at shortstop, Kevin Jones, your second baseman, Alan Moss over at first, and Logan Petit is behind home plate. Here's Brody Johnston. Sends one deep to left field and gone. What a show early on for Brody Johnston.
Sam, you called it. You said he had a lot of pop. He got a hanging slider right there, and he knew what to do with it.
He just has a swing that's designed to hit rockets to left field, and that's exactly what he did. That left the bat at 106.9 miles an hour, 369 feet to left field. He's a Tennessee native. He's getting to play in the Appy League just a few months after he graduated high school. He's looking very much like a college player there with that swing.
Yeah, you talked about it earlier. Like, what would he look like on this field coming out of high school? And he looks comfortable.
Looks extremely comfortable. Had a really good approach there. Was obviously can react well to a hanging breaking ball like that, and that was right in his wheelhouse.
So you give up that home run, and then who steps in but Gunnar Borey, who has 4 home runs this season, second in the league. Another one of the Johnson City Doughboys playing here at home tonight with the 4 home runs, a .355 batting average, 28 RBIs. He's batter of the month in June in the Appalachian League.
We were talking last inning about Callan Moss being the winner of last night's home run derby. Gunnar Borey was the runner-up, and he definitely had a home field advantage. There were guys all around this park, his teammates, fans, big Johnson City folks rallying around Gunnar Borey, getting him that second place finish.
And he will take the walk and head down to first. Oh, he will head back. Thought it was ball 4. It'll be 3-2.
Well, you can tell that McGregor understands how much power he has and what kind of hitter he is, but he's not giving in. He's been throwing balls all around the zone.
And Borey just looking for an explanation, whether it was that pitch that was a strike or if he had the count wrong before that.
That was 4.
Hey, it's an all-star game. Take some cuts, right?
Hey, just give him an opportunity to put barrel on them.
Yeah.
That is one thing I always talk about in these showcase games. Like, you want to show off that you can swing the bat, but you also want to show off that you have an approach.
Yeah.
It's tough balancing that, right?
So 3-2 pitch now, and that's low, and we all end up in the same place as Borey trots down to first base. Gets a nice crowd from the home fans. Bat Dog is on the prowl. The Bat Dog was at last year's All-Star game, a road game for the Bat Dog, but here this is where he does most of his work. So with Borey down at first base, that'll bring up Cal Sefcik, the left fielder.
Cal Sefcik, somebody who is transferring to Cincinnati. He's transferring from Indiana. Didn't get a ton of playing time for the Hoosiers, searching for a little bit more with the Bearcats.
And he's a guy that Kevin Mahoney called out as a guy that has really impressed him this season.
Yeah, exit velocity isn't always an end-all be-all stat, but he has a max EV of 112.2 miles an hour. That's major league power is what that is already, and he's doing it with a wood bat compared to the metal that he's using in the spring.
Nice breaking ball over for the strike. 2-1. Sefcik's father, Kevin, played 7 seasons Major League Baseball, played with the Phillies and the Rockies. So some bloodlines. And he'll hold up there. It's 3-1. Outside, ball 4 again. So back-to-back walks for McGregor.
McGregor is somebody who hasn't had a ton of control problems so far in the Appy League. 8 walks in 30 1/3 innings. Rick, what do you feel like he's doing? Is he rushing? Is he trying to be too cute? Like, what do you see his control faltering?
Since he gave up the home run, it does seem like he's trying to be fine. And when he's throwing that fastball away from righties, he's really jerking it. Seems like he's trying to make sure that he's getting it out there and he's not throwing a quality strike with it.
Here's Mason Swinney playing for Kingsport this summer from Phil Campbell, Alabama. Played his first 2 years at Alabama. He'll be headed to Dallas Baptist next spring. But at Alabama, he did progress. Played 12 games his freshman year. He's 3 for 9. Played 29 games as a sophomore. Hit .232. And like a lot of these players, he'll be looking for more playing time as he moves on to Dallas Baptist.
I'm really interested to see what he does at DBU. That place can be a launching pad. And his name is somebody who's continually come up in conversations I've had around the ballpark today. Is he could be a potential pro, and not just a pro, a potential major leaguer.
He's ahead 2-0 here. McGregor missing again, and it's 3-0. And you know who's on deck? It's Rintaro Sasaki. So you don't really want to load them up for that guy. And that's
in there, gives him the corner, 3-1.
The way McGregor is using his curveball, you can tell that he trusts it no matter what the count is, and I can see why he threw that 7-inning shutout, trusting his off-speed stuff and fastball counts.
3-1 pitch. And that's over again.
It's a good pitch.
Take another look. Poteet with the frame. (3-2). That one's popped up in the infield. Everybody coming around the pitcher's mound. Eventually, Callan Moss has it for a big second out. That's a tricky one where you're coming up the pitcher's mound, and this isn't your typical pitcher's mound because it's actually turf here, not just in the infield, but the mound is turf, the home plate is turf, so it's probably a kind of a weird feeling for Moss making that climb. And here is Rintaro Sasaki. We talked about him off the top, the 19-year-old out of Japan, heading to Stanford next season. One big home run so far in just 4 games with Greenville here in the Appy League. And that's right back at us, strike one. Aggressive.
He took a healthy cut at that one. I mentioned this earlier, but watch his front shoulder. He rarely buries it on his load, and it reminds me of the way Bryce Harper loads.
Big cut.
Tim, you talked about that home run. It was 430 feet on July 20th. That's already the 3rd longest in the Appy League. He's only been here for 4 games.
There's a cut, and that one will get out to the outfield. Second baseman back after it, and the shortstop, and eventually the shortstop, Addison Smith, has it and makes the play for the final out of the inning. But some damage done for the West squad. Big home run from the high school kid, Brody Johnson, going deep to left, and the West takes a 1-0 lead in the Appalachian League All-Star game. Welcome back to the Appalachian League All-Star Game. We have a treat for you here in the second inning. Here's a look back on the College World Series. Tennessee winning it all. They went 5-1 in Omaha to win the first national title in program history. Only loss coming to Texas A&M in that championship series. It was a College World Series dominated by the SEC and ACC. And Tony Vitello, the manager of that Tennessee Vols team, is here in the booth with us. And I guess, Tony, first of all, it's been a grand tour for you. Obviously, winning the College World Series. You were at the draft. You were in Cooperstown for the Hall of Fame. and now you're at the Appy League All-Star game. You're making the rounds.
Yeah, very blessed. The benefit of being around good players for sure. And it's fun to watch a game where there's good players on the field, but I don't have to stress in the dugout who's going to win and who's going to lose.
Have you gotten a chance to kind of take that breath and appreciate what a great run you had this spring?
Not really. That dang portal will beat you up. And, you know, on top of that, we're trying to juggle what happens in the draft and what's left over. What are the repercussions with our roster? And, of course, scholarship issues. You're always trying to get to 11.7 when the draft is over. And so it's a lot to juggle, but I'm not complaining. It's more fun than sitting behind a desk in a cubicle. And, you know, the challenge is on to see if we can win some games next year.
Did winning it all help the recruiting process?
It really did. And I think the main thing with recruiting is you just want to be able to get in everybody's door or front door. Nowadays, in-home visits are rare, but just to get the attention from kids when you either reach out to them or they know that you're interested in them. And then actually getting to the deal where a kid commits to you, it's not as simple as people think. I mean, a lot of people think, well, you guys won, everybody wants to play for you. Well, everybody might be interested, but that doesn't mean they're going to select us over everybody else because, let's be honest, everyone wants to hear how great they are, how much they're going to play, and the almighty dollar is involved in things these days too.
This league obviously has a huge footprint in Eastern Tennessee. See what you guys have done. Obviously, Vandy has a great program. What is it about this region right now that is such a baseball mecca?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of history in this league, and obviously it's different now with the shrinking of the minor league teams that are out there. But this area has benefited from these parks that are in place, and again, the traditions. And I think it excites the kids, too. They know they're going to be playing at high-level facilities and be playing on the field where other greats, you know, have been before. But as far as the state of Tennessee in general, people are flocking to Chattanooga, to Knoxville, to Nashville to live. As the population goes up, more good players move into the area. And I really think baseball is on the rise just in general in our state.
Manning West got a strikeout to start the inning, and there's a nice play by the second baseman, Chase Bloomer, to get Noah Smith 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the second.
Tony, you mentioned the transfer portal and how that changes so much of recruiting, and there's no real off switch. When you show up to a game like this, I mean, given what the portal could be, there could be future Vols here playing in this game. Do you keep that switch turned on even when you're watching a game like this?
A little bit. To be honest with you, when you go out and you see high school kids that are committed, the trend or the tradition had been you almost kind of ignore that guy because he's committed to another school, and you have to retrain your brain to pay attention to everybody because you never know when you're going to get a call from someone. And we actually joked in the office today about me coming over here, and you don't want to compliment a play too much or an arm that's on the mound too much because somebody might get the wrong impression. It's a very tumultuous and weird environment that we're in, but it's here to stay, and it's not going anywhere.
So not to put you on the spot, but what did you think about Brody Johnston's home run?
Hey, Coach Corbin has obviously done a great job over there, and you know, there's a lot of people that don't like the fact they're in our league with their recruiting prowess, but we have to share a state with them, so it's even worse for us, and they've got a proud tradition. So there's always going to be players that want to go there, but, you know, that player in particular you mentioned, he stands out no matter where he's at. It could be a high school showcase because he went to all the big ones in high school, and now even playing at this level, he stands out.
What does it mean for this league that a kid like that going into his freshman year at that level is playing here this summer?
You know, I think there's a lot of strict rules, whether it's the Cape or this league or the Northwoods, and you have to have some sort of finite rules in which a kid can and cannot participate. But over the years, the leagues have shown flexibility, which I think is wise. I mean, you know, it's like the NCAA, everyone complains, well, we'll just use common sense. You know, there's a fine or middle ground you got to find with what's practical but also having rules. And I think given an opportunity like that kid to play in this league, it really benefits everybody if you take a step back and look at it.
For a coach at a big program, would you want one of your kids playing this league to get some extra reps before the coming in?
For us, we're in such a sweet spot. They're close to us, so they could maybe still live in their complex. We'll see if we get
along the third base line, and he makes the play. The third baseman, Brody Johnson, brings it in. Tony, you going to stick around for another half inning with us?
I'm all for it.
All right, all right. Thank you for being here with us. It's been a lot of fun. We're going to be back for the bottom of the second, 1-0. Welcome back to the Appalachian League All-Star Game. We're heading to the bottom of the second inning, 1-0 after that big Brody Johnston home run in the last half. Throw down to second base, and we are ready to go. Tony Vitello is still here with us. So we were talking during the break, and you said you like to just, you know, when you're at a game, focus on the game, focus on what's going on. But I would imagine even more so since the national championship, you get a little more fame when you go around from ballpark to ballpark?
Well, I don't know that it really can increase too much in our state. Our fans are literally as crazy as it gets. You know, I don't know if it's a fair comparison because Alabama people want to slash my tires, but the way Alabama football has seen in that state, I feel like all of our sports. It could be women's basketball. Softball's been one of the best programs on our campus the last 2 decades. So I just feel like there's a unique flavor in this state of loyalty and interest in Vol athletics, and is pretty amazing or remarkable to see what any big win from our athletic department means to these people.
Brady Francisco leading things off for the West squad. Takes ball one.
So you guys, what's your opinion? Do you like seeing these guys wear their uniforms, or did you like the insanely crazy uniforms the MLB guys were wearing?
I like this kind of like traditional thing where they get to show them off. And because the thing I like about it is that you know which team they came from, right,
Sure.
to be here. So, oh, he plays here at Johnson City, cool, and he plays over there. Now, if you're a big fan of the league, you may already know that, but I think for less of a diehard fan, seeing all those different uniforms and seeing which teams they're playing for is pretty cool.
I like the individual team uniforms also. I think there's a sense of pride,
Sure.
what town they came from, you know, if it's the big leagues. Is it the Cardinals? Is it
Right.
the Braves?
It's such a tradition-based sport too. I'm just used to it. It kind of was refreshing when I showed up and saw that. Whereas, you know, it kind of has more of the futuristic new age feel when you see the stuff they were wearing this year.
Kyle Phelan, by the way, on the hill now for the East. Left-hander pitching for Danville this summer. UNC Wilmington product. That one sent foul down the left field line.
It's really, you know, crazy to me coming from St. Louis, where, of course, Mr. Ankiel put on a show many a days. It was fun to watch. You know, just not as well versed in the East Coast. The Carolinas have so much baseball talent. It's incredible. The first year we were able to make a regional was in Chapel Hill. There were more North Carolina colleges.
Ground ball, the shortstop. Up with it is Smith across to Callan Moss. He has him out.
There were more North Carolina colleges represented in the NCAA tournament than there was California schools. And that's what brought it to my attention. But ever since then, too, it's more and more noticeable. There's phenomenal baseball along the East Coast, but in particular in the Carolinas.
And it played out in the World Series, right, where you have 4 SEC schools and 4 ACC schools and nothing.
Yeah, and, you know, speaking of Carolinas, Coastal Carolina, that's a Cinderella story where they win the whole thing not too long ago. I don't know, and I'm all for someone prove me wrong. I don't know when we're going to see that again. Yeah, I'm not the one that makes the rules. The rich get richer with some of the transfer portal stuff, the NIL stuff that's out there. And I just wonder if the ACC, SEC, you know, kind of prevalence, or you could almost say domination of Omaha this year is going to continue on.
Do you miss seeing the smaller schools in Omaha like that? Being from the SEC, there's like that pride of that, but also, you know, the other side of that.
Yeah, I mean, when you're playing against Missouri State, you know, they started out as Southwest Missouri State. Those guys have turned out as many big leaguers. You know, Ryan Howard came from there and others. When you're playing them, you hate them. But when you take a step back, you have immense respect for Keith Gutton, did so much there. And when they make it to Omaha for their first and what I believe was their only time, it's a remarkable story. And it's neat to see a cycle of a group of players ended up at this place or that place. But, you know, right now, I mean, SEC fans and people are arrogant. It's just there's no way around it. We got a lot of pride in what we do. But right now, kids all across the country, they want to take part in it. We've got more fans and bigger facilities than most. And these kids see that all the way from Oregon or the West Coast, and a lot of them want to make the trek. And it's hard to blame them. And again, I'm trying to be as neutral as possible in saying that.
And we don't know how quick this inning is going to go. So I just want to ask while we still have the chance. Rentaro Sasaki is here. He's participating in this. When people first heard that he was going to come stateside, how did news reach you? And obviously he's staying on the West Coast with Stanford. Did you ever think there was a chance he could come to a SEC school or something on the East Coast?
You know, there's a lot of hurdles there. So if you're going to dive in, you're going to have to dive in with everything you got. And I think we just kind of dipped our toes in the water a little bit, and that's not going to get it done. But it's a unique situation, and I try and steer clear of social media. But if it's loud enough, it's going to get to me. And that got really, really loud on social media. So it was talked about by our coaches and even our players during practice. And it's awesome to see those stories. And you look at the first pick of the draft in Bazana, being from Australia, this is a game that I think can be appreciated worldwide. I don't know if it can reach the soccer level, but it should reach worldwide because there's so many good athletes out there that if they're given the right tools and the right coaching, like some of these kids in Canada now get, the game can grow and there can be more personalities, which makes it more fun.
Does that force you to open up recruiting to beyond the borders, beyond America?
It really does. And I'll tell you what's fun is we've had, you know, Jarrell Ortega with Puerto Rican descent, and Robin Villeneuve was a French-Canadian kid on our team this year. They just make it more fun. And they wouldn't be in our locker room if they weren't talented, but they got the unique personality, and it adds, you know, some variety to the locker room in a fun way.
All right, Dylan Mass flies out to left field to end the inning, so that's going to do it for the bottom of the second. It is still 1-0. Thank you so much, Coach, for joining us, and congratulations again on the national championship.
Thank you all. I appreciate it. Very fortunate.
Thanks, Coach.
Lauren, D-Row, and Roflo catch you up on all the games from the night before and set you up for all the action ahead. Lead off your mornings with the gang from the couch on MLB Central, weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network. And we are back at it here in the Appy League All-Star Game. Quickly 0-1 the count to Addison Smith, leading things off here in the top of the third for the East squad.
You know, just touching on something we were talking about with Tony. You know, we talk about baseball expanding. The guys are getting bigger, faster, and stronger, but in baseball, you don't have to be a monster. If you can hit or if you can pitch, you can make your way to the big leagues.
Smith with a quick slap shot to right field for the single to lead things off. New pitcher for the West Side is Kyle Body, left-hander out of Greenville. He's playing for Greenville this summer. 19-year-old from Plano, Texas.
Body's got a 2.17 ERA, a 1.10 WHIP, and 30 strikeouts in 29 1/3 innings, working as a starter.
And back to the top of the order, Kevin Jones grounded out to shortstop back in the first inning.
You can see from here, he's got some pretty good movement on that fastball, tailing away from the hitter.
Yeah, it's an upper 80s sinker. His best pitch is his 76 to 79 mile an hour slider. It gets a ton of whiffs with 2 plane break, a 77 to 82 mile an hour changeup. He's also got a curveball. But I agree, it is that sinker that we're seeing a lot of movement going arm side so far.
See 5 starts for Greenville so far this summer, 6 overall appearances. He's 2-0, the 2.17 ERA. Behind 3-0, and he'll get that one over for strike 1 to Jones. Jones slaps that one out of play to the right side. Played 2 seasons at Lenoir Community College. He had 344, 57 RBIs in 101 games. That caught the eye of UNC Wilmington, where he's headed for next season.
You guys mind putting the game on my TV?
And he gets the strikeout there of Jones. That'll bring up Michael Rodriguez.
There's that breaking ball just going over the inside corner. You typically think lefties will go with the changeup to try to get a strikeout, but clearly trusting the breaking pitch and fooled Jones on the inside part of the plate.
Rodriguez grounded out to second in his first at bat. This time he shoots it through the right side for a hard single. So a little rally brewing here for the East squad. 2 on, 1 out is third.
Rodriguez seeing that same breaking ball and a little bit more ready for it, probably because he was scouting the previous at bat. Shoots it through the right side for a single.
First pitch of the at bat, a lot of times pitchers will just throw that get me over breaking pitch, which he threw there, and he was ready for it.
So 2 on for big Callan Moss. Back in the first inning, they jammed him, and all he did with it was go opposite field off the wall for a single. This is his 3rd year playing in the Appy League, and he has gotten better every year. 2022 with Johnson City, 269 average. 2023, he had 316 last year for Danville. Back there again this year so far, 337. We mentioned the 4 homers, 9 doubles. He even has 5 stolen bases this summer.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of soft stuff in this at-bat against Callan Moss. He's only missed on 2 of his swings against fastballs. He's swung 37 times, missed only twice on fastballs. The guy loves seeking heat.
Down low, 2-1.
Yeah, if I'm the pitcher and I show him a fastball, it's going to be a fastball in, so I can go right back to the breaking stuff away.
Another breaking pitch. That one over to the right side. The first baseman has room. Sasaki takes it in. Big out there. Second out of the inning. They get the big bat Moss, but there's another one waiting. and Alec DiMartino.
Well played there, stayed in his legs as a fielder, went over, played the spin that's coming back. Nice job at first base.
One thing we just saw Moss do a lot of, he shared with DiMartino and Cole Johnson the information that he just received from that at bat. You know, they're trying to make this a big inning. There's only, you know, there are 2 outs at this point. There are 2 men on, but getting DiMartino, somebody you mentioned before, leading the league in all 3 slash line categories, he can use that information from Moss and put it to good use here in this AB.
First pitch to DiMartino is low, ball 1. Yeah, and every inning you're facing a new pitcher, so it's a constant communication.
He does have a base open, even though it's at third, so he doesn't have to give in and give this guy a cookie, being that he's the best hitter in the league right now.
Well, looks like he is pitching carefully.
One interesting thing about DiMartino, he's second or tied for second in the league with 5 home runs, but hearing him talk at the Derby last night, he's like, I'm not a home run hitter. I'm looking to put it in the gaps. I'm looking to go backside a little bit, go for some right center doubles. He's not aiming to swing for the fences. That's worked out well for him so far in this league, leading the league in average, 408. He's the only one above 400 with minimum 70 plate appearances. But not a great home run derby strategy, we'll put it that way.
Out in front of that one, 2-2. When you look at him in person last night, when I seen him at the Derby, the first thing that stood out to me was just how strong his legs is. And you can see that balance we talked about a little bit earlier when he's at the plate. Split stance, wide stance, loads a little bit front, and then loads to the back and just rotates on that backside.
2-2 pitch from Body, and that's down low, ball 3. So the runners will be off and moving here on the full count with 2 outs. Chance to do some damage for DiMartino.
Curveball away, base open, that's my prediction.
Will he chase it? Oh, he challenges him, and it's snagged at third base by Brody Johnston. He challenged him. He was up for the challenge, but Johnston too tough at third base, going up high to bring that one down for the 3rd out and to keep the East team off the board. Take another look. Johnston getting up in the air to keep his team in front, 1-0. Welcome back to the Appalachian League All-Star Game. Mickey Tettleton had a heck of a big league career. 5th-round pick out of Oklahoma State, 1981 College World Series champion. Played 14 Major League seasons, 1984 to 97 with the A's, Orioles, Tigers, and Rangers. He was an All-Star twice, 3-time Silver Slugger Award, and hit a whole lot of home runs from both sides of the plate. And now he joins us because he's the manager of Danville this summer here in the Appalachian League, and he is also managing the East squad tonight. Mickey, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure. Nice to be with you guys.
Mickey, we were just talking about that last play in the last inning, and I thought your guys were going to get on the board.
Yeah, it was a heck of a play. I'm not real happy about it right about now, but it was a heck of a play. You know, there's a bunch of good athletes on the field right now, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's not the last, or you'll see more good plays like that.
Mickey, what stands out to me is the 3-time Silver Slugger Award, man. You could poll.
If they threw it where I was swinging, sometimes there was a collision, but, you know, sometimes there wasn't. You know, I think that's, you know, one of the things that I'm most proud about. How cool is this dog, though? This is unbelievable.
Chase Bloomer with the base hit there off of Joe Gomez to lead things off. Here's a look back. Mickey, we're looking at some of your great power shots from your Tigers days. Old Tiger Stadium. The overhanging upper deck in right.
Yeah, it's a great place to hit. As a left-handed hitter, you had to learn how to pull the ball there. And fortunately, as I went on there, I learned how to hook a ball a little bit better. But great place to play. I enjoyed the old ballparks like that one, Fenway Park. You know, those places that were right on top of you. Look, we just got paid back. We just paid him back right there.
Same guy,
yeah.
And they double him up. Brody Johnston, after homering back in the first inning, the shot to third base, but Noah Smith snags it. Quick throw down to first base.
I would refer to that as a dumb hitter right there. Both those guys are dumb hitters because that guy's been playing there for 100 years. You don't try to go through them. You go around them.
Even at 110.3 miles an hour, which is the exit velocity on that hit for Brody Johnston, it's tough to hit it through a guy.
Yes, it is.
Mickey, one thing that stood out for me looking at your resume and from us talking before is you are somebody who has participated in the Major League All-Star game. Now you're managing the Appy League All-Star game. What is your message to the guys about playing in this experience and something for many of them, hopefully it's just the first step in multiple All-Star games?
Enjoy it. Go out, show off your skill set. I mean, there's really no signs tonight or anything like that. It's just these kids getting on the mound, showing their pitches, hitters showing what they can do. Obviously, there are a couple of really nice defensive plays so far. But the biggest thing is just enjoying the moment and just going out. And hopefully this is the beginning of what could be, you know, long careers for these guys in the big leagues, and hopefully they get the opportunity to play in the All-Star game at the highest level because it is an absolute blast.
Mickey, being that you have played in an All-Star game, what was the message to your team tonight? Did you have some advice for those guys?
That same thing I just said. Just go out, enjoy it, have fun. You know, do the best you can. There's really going to be no winners and losers tonight because all these kids are winners by simply getting here first. So they're all well deserving of it. None of these guys, you know, kind of back their way into it or anything like that. So it is a talented bunch. And it's fun to watch both teams for me. You know, not only our guys, but watching the West team as well and watching what these kids can do.
Borey works the walk for the second straight at bat. That brings up Sefcik with a runner on and 2 away. You played at Oklahoma State. We mentioned that, Mickey, and won a College World Series there. There's a lot of Cowboys in this league this summer.
Yes, there is, and I think that's, you know, really credit to the league because you're starting to see more of the Power 5 schools that are sending their kids here, and you know, it's a development league that, you know, like we were talking about before the game, and it's something that I thoroughly enjoy. You know, they get enough of the winning and losing at their schools during the season. So for this to not emphasize the winning, you still want to win. Yeah, there's never a bad time learning how to win something, but learning how to win instead of placing all the emphasis on winning is something that I think is really cool. I love the development part. I love working with this age group. So it's been a lot of fun for me.
And speaking of development, Mickey, you know, you have a history as a hitting coach as well. How has hitting development changed since when you were first in the minors and the majors?
Well, there is no launch angle. You know, some of the hardest balls that I ever seen hit, like we were talking about before the game, was guys who just tomahawked it. The Cal Ripkins, the Dave Winfield, stuff like that. And I don't think that, you know, the launch angle was even mentioned. And even, you know, when you watch guys swing at the big league level, they're still swinging down on it. There's not a lot of guys swinging straight up at it. But, you know, I think the mechanics of the swing are still the same, and they're not going to change. There's certain things that we all have to do within our swing. I mean, you look at myself, and then you look at a guy like Julio Franco, who we had completely opposite stances. But when our front foot hit the ground, we were both in the same place. And I think that's a big thing that, you know, when we talk about hitting with these kids is just trying to get them as tight and as fast as possible.
That's popped up in the infield. In from the left side come the Smiths. The catcher Logan Poteet takes care of it. Mickey, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys.
All right, we are going to head on. Still 1-0, the West in front here at the Appalachian League All-Star Game.
Well,
Hey, I'm at the
lettering's
hot
a little
corner
small
with
too.
Brody Johnston, who had a home run earlier in the game. You're a couple of months removed from high school baseball. How much fun are you having, and what has allowed you to have success here?
I mean, yeah, I've just treated it all as a blessing to be here, you know, just learn from the older guys, see what they're doing, because they've already been through this whole process, and it's just been out here having fun, really.
You were an All-American last year with the likes of Connor Griffin and Bryce Rayner and Cam Kennedy. You watched these guys live their dream not that long ago. How excited were you for them?
Oh, yeah, I was stoked to see him get drafted, especially that high. That was awesome, just knowing guys that got drafted that high.
All right, what feels better, a home run or hitting a ball 110 even though you lined into a double play?
Ooh, I'm going to have to say a home run, even though it was a higher exit velo. I mean, who doesn't like a home run?
Yeah, but that was a little frustrating, right, to hit one 110 and line into a DP?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was definitely a little pissed off, but, I mean, it happens. It's baseball.
Hey, Sasaki's really confused over there at first base. He's not sure what we're doing, but, hey, keep up the good work, and best of luck when you get to Vandy.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, there you go. Brody Johnston, guys.
Thanks a lot, Brett. Here's another look at that shot from Brody Johnston to left field. Like we said, he hit the other one harder, but he'll take that one.
Strong kid.
And that's why it's 1-0 here in the Appy League All-Star Game as we head to the top of the fourth inning. Blake Julius taken to the mound for the West squad. He will face Cole Johnson, Logan Poteet, and Noah Smith.
Blake Julius is the only qualified pitcher in the Appy League with 0 earned runs. He also leads the league with an .096 average against. He's second with an .067 whip. He struck out 26 in 22 1/3 innings, mostly working as a reliever.
Tall kid, he's 6'8", high arm slot, good changeup. He just featured right there during warm-ups.
Talked about all the Oklahoma State players, and here is one of them, Cole Johnson. He was at Oklahoma State. He'll be heading to Austin Peay next year. And he is playing for Mickey Tettleton this summer at Danville. Struck out back in the first inning. Big cut there, 1-1.
One thing I would like to see Johnson make some contact here for obvious reasons, just to see what the quality of contact can be for him at 6'5". But looking at his spray chart, he's not afraid to go right center with pop. So if he gets one on the outside of the plate here, look for him to drive it to right center.
He turns over on that one to the left side. Third baseman Brody Johnson has it. Throws over to Sasaki for the out.
Good footwork and good read by Brody right there. Read the hop, came in and got it. Nice play.
Yeah, we talked a lot about his bat, but he looks really smooth down in the hot corner too.
Yeah, talking to people who have seen him all year in the Appy League, they really like his actions at third base. Obviously a high school guy, you would like him playing the premium position at shortstop and moving to third base down the line, but he's got a really strong arm. It's at least plus moving across the diamond. He scoops up balls there pretty well. If that's his best position now, let him play it at Vandy and potentially be an above average defender.
Here's Logan Poteet. He played at Vandy. He's headed to UNC Charlotte. Take that outside 2-0. Tim Corbin, the head coach at Vanderbilt, said about Poteet, Poe really took advantage of his redshirt year by improving his strength, fitness, his baseball skill set behind the plate offensively. He has strong, powerful hands with the ability to drive balls to all fields.
Yeah, he only played in 11 games for Vandy this past year. Homered 3 times, though, so got to show off some of those strong hands. You can see why he's transferring to Charlotte to get more playing time and show off that pop.
big cut there. It's 2-1. He played for Kingsport back in 2022 when he was just an 18-year-old. Hit 254 with 15 RBIs as an 18-year-old. Another big cut, 2-2.
There's a change up there. That has some really good depth to it.
Yeah, Poteet's somebody who doesn't face a lot of fastballs, or he hasn't so far in the Appy League, so it's not a huge surprise to see them go with the softer stuff.
3-2 pitch, fouled out of play. We'll do it again. One thing we haven't talked much about yet, big crowd here, and this is a ballpark that packs them in night after night. As far as the Appy League goes, this is the ballpark that leads the way in attendance. And you can see why with the atmosphere here tonight. Another 3-2 pitch. That one's bounced to the left side, foul.
This just seems to be the best atmosphere for baseball here. It's the right conditions for baseball. You got a strong city, a proud city here in Johnson City. They go back to their time as a Cardinals affiliate. I know that they had pretty strong attendance back in that day too, but that's carried right over to the Doughboys era.
I mean the Ankiel years. That's popped up to the left side, third baseman under it, and Johnson makes another play for the out, 2 down.
Back in the good days is what you're saying.
You were saying, we were talking a little bit, the ballpark has changed a little bit over the years, but here you go, 2001, Rick Ankiel. Not bad, 1.33 ERA pitching, and that's when you kind of found that love of hitting that obviously got you back to the big leagues in a big way. 286 average with a 1,003 OPS. You were the pitcher
terrible.
of the year in the Appy League in 2000.
Came down here to work on getting the pitching stuff back, and I had a pretty good year.
Both. Yeah. What was more fun, though, the pitching and trying to find that, or getting to swing the bat?
Getting to swing the bat was more fun.
Chase Bloomer makes the play to second. Oh, it gets away. And Noah Smith will be on first base on the error.
Sasaki apologizing for maybe the way he handled that play. It looked like it was going to be a pretty simple one. We'll see the throw here. Looked like he just whiffed on it. Yep.
Bloomer had to come up and throw quickly because of the speed of Smith down the line. And Sasaki just kind of took his eyes off the ball. So E3. And that'll bring up Alexander Wright.
I know Mickey said they weren't giving signs, but this, lefty up with a runner on first, this would be a good time for a hit and run if they were.
Maybe they'll do it on their own. What do you think?
I would just give runners the permanent green light. If you want to go and show off your speed, this is the time
There
to do
you
it.
go. He's off and running, and it's fouled back.
There you go. They put it on themselves. Smart players.
And it's funny because he was telling us, Mickey was telling us one thing that they try to get across to these kids is they don't necessarily know the little things about baseball at this point. When you should do this, when you should do that, when you should show bunt and maybe bring in the third baseman. They're showing off what they've learned there. Wright popped up to third back in the second inning.
And honestly, Alexander Wright might be the guy to do a hit and run with. He doesn't swing and miss much. He only has a 12% whiff rate in the Appy League. He won't bite on changeups very much. He won't chase them out of the zone. He's a guy who can put the ball in play, and maybe Noah Smith tries it again.
It's over for strike two, 2-2.
Good fastball down and away there.
He's off and running on the 2-2 pitch, and they do slap it through the right side, and around he goes to third base. So pretty well executed. Little hit and run. We don't know if it was called for or not, but runners on the corners with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th.
Whether it was called for or not, I still like the aggression a lot. And that's just a good piece of hitting to go down and get the ball. I think people say good piece of hitting and they always think it's going the opposite way, but that's difficult to hit, to stay on top of it, drive it through the right side, move the guy first to third.
Especially on the changeup. Kept his hands back, even though his weight maybe got a little bit out front. He's able to keep his hands back and get barrel and lift it, like you said.
So here's Addison Smith with a chance to tie things up. First pitch strike. Smith singled back in the 3rd inning.
I know there's 2 outs here. I think if I'm the runner at first, though, I would stay put, so that way the lefty can just pull the ball through the hole for a base hit again. Being that there's a runner on 3rd.
See the defensive alignments. You see the nice turf field there and the grass outfield. That's all going to change before next year. They're going to get a brand new turf surface in here going into 2025. Smith sends that one down the left field line. It'll get out of play.
Now that he's got 2 strikes, I would go ahead and steal. Lefty hitter. Catcher's going to have a hard time throwing it.
Doesn't go, and strike 3 on the inside corner. Pitcher's pitch by Julius, and he escapes trouble and keeps the West squad in front here. The East team has threatened, but they can't scrape one across. Still 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the 4th.
Double.
Welcome back. Bottom of the 4th inning at the Appy League All-Star Game. Still 1-0 the West squad. They are being managed tonight by that guy, Kevin Mahoney. You see the career resume. Played at Canisius College 2006 to 2009. MAC Player of the Year his final year. 23rd round draft pick out for the Yankees. 13 seasons as a player and coach in that organization. Named the Johnson City Manager in 2022 and loves it so much he's done it for 3 years now, and he's joining us now. Thanks for joining us, Skip.
Oh, thanks for having me. That was quite the intro.
So this guy that's going to be leading off the inning, Rintaro Sasaki, we might as well just start there. You obviously haven't gotten to see him every day here for the week he's been in the league, but the last 2 days you've been around him. What do you think?
Wow. I got a chance to see him for the first time hit today outside of the batting cages, and he was hitting balls just as far as Callan Moss was last night in the home run derby. Holy cow. I haven't seen many guys be able to miss-hit top spin line drives to right field and hit the wall in this league, and he was doing that today in BP. It was very impressive. I was very impressed.
Kevin, this is Rick Yankee. I can tell you one thing that impressed me too is it didn't seem like he was just trying to pull everything. If the ball was away, it seemed like he was shooting it into that left center gap as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I was very impressed by that too. Usually you see a young hitter, and I was throwing batting practice, and I don't have the best BP out there, but you know, I threw a few low and away, and he was whacking it to left center out of the park. I'd throw it in, he'd take it out to right, and when he didn't have a good swing, he made an adjustment. He thought about his swing, he felt the swing, made his adjustment mentally, and then got back in the box and took care of business. I was very impressed to see that type of process out of a young hitter.
And in terms of managing him as a person, he's somebody who comes to this game with a ton of spotlight from both countries, right? Japan and the United States. How do you feel like he's handled that, at least being in the clubhouse around the guys?
He's done a great job, and he's in a really good place with Greenville, and Jack Wilson and the boys over there are doing a great job with him. You know, to see the camaraderie that he has with his teammates over in Greenville in such a short time is carried over here into the All-Star game, and watching him interact with the other players, it's been fun, and he's really enjoying himself, it seems like, and the guys are enjoying having him around, and it's fun to watch that interaction.
Bromley Thornton on the mound, by the way, for the East squad here. He's actually a two-way player, but doing some pitching tonight against Sasaki. And he gets the strikeout. What'd you see there, Coach?
Yeah, just a little late on that one there, but that's okay. He's seeing these guys for the first time. It's hard to hit a new pitcher every single at bat and get a good timing, and I think he just snuck that one by there.
That'll bring up Brady Francisco.
Yeah, Brady's doing a nice job behind the plate tonight.
Grounded out to shortstop in his first at bat. So you've been, as we mentioned, managing for 3 years in this league. Can you just take us through how you've seen this league kind of grow through that time from a talent of player perspective?
Oh, absolutely. The talent in this league has continuously gotten better since my first year. Our squad as well, and just all around talent too. I hate to say the floor of talent because these kids are really good in this league, but the floor of this league in terms of talent has only gotten better and better every single year, and it's really tough to put a lineup 1 through 9 because you're 7, 8, 9 hitters on every team. They're very talented and they're really good players, and it's a pleasure to watch. And then you see guys coming in. We got guys low to mid 90s in this league now, and throwing the ball hard and being able to spin the ball as well. And it's pretty impressive. My first year, there's a lot of low to mid 80s, and there's not too much of that anymore. And hitters being challenged every single night, and they're learning how to kind of push through some adversity early on in their careers. And it's fun to watch. It's fun to be around, and it's fun to play a small part in their careers.
What have you noticed about the awareness of the league, both externally and internally, as guys start to show up? I'm sure a few years ago they were still getting introduced to what this league could be. Have you noticed anything different, like guys know exactly what this league is day one?
Absolutely, yeah. I believe that these players are leaving here with a glimpse of what professional baseball is all about. Playing every day, grinding every day, going to new cities, small cities, small towns, and things like that, and learning how to deal with that daily adversity and daily grind. And some of the players yesterday, we're talking about the league and how they feel like this is what it will be like when they get to professional baseball, which I hope every single guy on this field has that opportunity.
Kevin, speaking of professional teams, you were with the Yankees, which is regarded as one of the greatest organizations that there is. As a former major league player, I feel like every player wants to play for the Yankees at least once. Is there anything that you've been able to take away from that organization that you've been able to bring here as a coach?
Absolutely. I was very blessed to have that opportunity with the New York Yankees because of that kind of aura around them. They're the best of the best, and that's kind of my big thing that I brought with me, is that if we're going to expect the best out of these players and expect the best out of this league, we need to provide it with the best and the opportunity that they can get and give them the best chance to have success. And I'm hoping that's the case, and they can take advantage of that and move on to the next level.
Quick work out of Bromley Thornton. He's been great all summer, and he's great here to punch out to end the inning. Thank you so much, Skip, for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, we're heading on to the 5th inning. Still 1-0 West.
back here in Johnson City. Callan Moss joins me. He has to bat this inning, but he was the home run derby champion yesterday. Looked like you had a flare to right that went off the fence. But this is your third year in this league. Does anybody call you Grandpa? How much fun do you have being kind of a mentor to some of these guys?
No, it's been great. I think year 3 I've kind of become the uncle status, this year. But it's been really cool. I think we got a really great group of young guys over there in Danville. I've had a chance to kind of work a lot with Cole Johnson. I guess he's kind of like a little brother. He's a lot bigger than me, though. But, just watching that kid, grow throughout the summer, I mean, he's going to be a great hitter
You bring joy, though, to this dugout. You have fun. I think that permeates. Has that always been something that's been part of your DNA?
Oh, yes, sir. I think there's a long time in my early baseball career I was kind of that crybaby, kind of throwing bats and everything. And I think the way for me to not do that is just kind of be happy all the time and trying to bring the boys up. So I think once I started doing that, baseball got a lot more fun, got a lot easier for me.
Finally, you want to stay in baseball some way, somehow. You did a marketing internship for a class with this team in the off season. Tell me about that.
Oh, yes, sir. It was a great experience. I got to work on kind of the marketing side, talking about some of the events we're going to do in the summer, like the theme games, that kind of stuff. Also had a chance to look over their finances and kind of do some projections for the attendance and, ticket sales this summer. So that was really fun.
I like that. By the way, Mickey Tittleson said when he called everybody before the season, he did more listening than talking with you.
100%. Yeah, something like that. I definitely talked his ear off for a minute.
All right, I know you got to get on deck, but thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's Callan Moss. Guys, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Brett. What a great personality. And we talked to Mickey a little bit about first base and how he's the guy that's always talking down there at first base. Guys get to the bag, and he's also talking to his teammates, and he's just talking all the time.
Yeah, Sean Casey was the mayor. I think Callan Moss can be the governor of the Appy League. Maybe, I know we were talking about grandpa or uncle. Let's go with the governor. I think that works pretty well for him.
I like it. Big, bright personalities, big smile. Seems fun to be around.
Kevin Jones, top of the order, will lead things off for the East squad against Miles Smith, the new pitcher for the West. Jones 0 for 2, grounded out to short in the first, struck out in the third, and he's quickly behind 0-2.
Miles Smith transferring to Kansas State from Walter State Community College, which is in Tennessee, where he had an 8.38 ERA over 2 seasons, but obviously showed enough to Kansas State to transfer there and jump to the D1 ranks.
Bromley Thornton, by the way, last half inning, we were talking to the manager, but a smooth inning, couple of strikeouts, 9 strikes on 13 pitches, and really dominant.
He's got a pretty tight slider. Let's see if this. The first one he threw 1-1. That was really good.
2-2 now the count to Kevin Jones.
Yeah, the stuff on Miles Smith, an 89 to 92 mile an hour fastball, a really good slider, 83 to 87 miles an hour. He's gotten 20 whiffs on 32 swings against that slider. So guys at this level really have not been able to touch his breaking stuff.
You always hear a lot about tunneling. The first one he threw in the 1-1 count looked just like the heater, just had a good drop to a tight spin.
Yes, I think sometimes guys get too wrapped up in sweep and the metrics of a pitch and how does it look on its own. But if it looks a lot like the fastball, it's going to be just as effective.
As up the middle off the bag and to the second baseman, who makes the throw to first and gets Jones.
That's tough luck. That ball was already a base hit, bounced off the second base and bounced right to him.
Jones tried to beat it out anyway, but couldn't get there. So one away, a little bit of luck for Miles Smith. Here's another look at it. Doink.
That ball's almost in center field already.
And Sasaki, who had an error earlier in the game where he just whiffed, that's a pretty good scoop at first base to pick up his teammate and finish off what was a pretty amazing play.
Nice job by Bloomer staying with it, too. You know, the misdirection, was able to get back to it and make the play. That brings up Michael Rodriguez. He sends one out to right center field, and that'll get down into the gap. The right fielder Toledo has it, and into second base sliding safely is Rodriguez with a 1-out double. He's 2 for 3.
Big swing. I think the right fielder thought that he got a lot more of it than he did. When you see his route in right field, he kind of took that angle towards the wall at first. It's the right way to play it if you don't know, but from the swing that he took, it did look like that he got it pretty well.
And here's the guy we heard from heading into the inning, Callan Moss with a runner in scoring position.
Sam, you talked about it earlier that he doesn't miss many fastballs. Let's see how they approach him here if it's a lot of off speed.
Yeah, Miles Smith has been around 92, 93, so he's got a little extra juice, but Callan Moss has a whole lot of power.
That's strike one. Here's a look back on Moss getting caught inside. It didn't matter. Still manages to hit it off the wall. Big grin as he looks back into his dugout. And that big grin is on his face all the time. 1-1.
2 breaking pitches in a row. Let's see where he goes.
That'll miss. 2-1 the count. The East continues to threaten here, but they just haven't been able to get the big hit.
And do credit to Moss on that one. You could see him saying go, 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 stop, and just held off enough to make it a 2-1 and put himself right into a hitter's count.
2-1 pitch. Down low, 3-1. Take a look at the leaders in RBIs around the league. Moss 4th.
Base open here at first base. 1 out. You put the double play in order. I doubt he gets a strike.
Challenges him, sends it to the left side. The third baseman Johnston has it, throws across the diamond, holds the runner, and gets Moss for the 2nd out. Got a pitch to hit.
He did. Good pitch, borderline pitch. That's just a situation where you don't have to give in to him.
I bet if he could do that again, he would probably lay off that. It was really well tailing away from him. It's even with his power, it's tough to hook that into the left field corner for the RBI that he would have rather had.
So still a runner on second, and that's going to bring up Alec DiMartino, but it looks like we will have a pitching change. And we will come back to introduce the new pitcher and to see if the East squad can tie things up here in the top of the 5th. The biggest names in the show take center stage as the October-minded boys from Philly play host to the Rockstar roster from the Bronx. It's Yankees at Phillies on the Casamigos Tequila MLB Network Monday Night Showcase starting at 6:30 Eastern Time. And here in Johnson City, Tennessee, the new pitcher Caden Carroll for the West team. Pitching for Elizabethton this summer, the right-hander, 19-year-old from Cartersville, Georgia.
He's a transfer out of Kennesaw State. He's going to College of Central Florida, a junior college. He's got a fastball in the upper 80s. His 78 to 82 mile-an-hour changeup will get some chase because it's got some pretty good run on it.
Good pitch there, and he gets the quick ground ball and the quick out, and that'll do it. 1 pitch, 1 out for Caden Carroll. How about that? We go to break. We come back for a pitch. We're going back to break. 1-0 West as we head to the bottom of the 5th.
Hey, welcome back. I'm with Gunnar Buree. He is an Ivy Leaguer who's been tearing up the Appy League. He goes to Brown. First of all, tell me your major and your minor.
So I'm majoring in business economics and I'm minoring in entrepreneurship.
You know, I know you went to the Bull School in Jacksonville. You were a tremendous high school quarterback. Obviously, that helped with time management, but that's a lot. So how do you enjoy coming to the Appy League where it's all baseball all summer?
You know, it's a nice thing we don't have any class. You know, I don't have to worry about any work, just focus on baseball. It's kind of like a dream come true.
This has been a big year for you, kind of a breakthrough year offensively at school and this summer. What has been the key for you?
You know, I think some things have just kind of clicked for me, and then just trusting my confidence and knowing the player I am and just going out there and, like I said, trusting. And that's kind of really been it. That's all I've done.
Hey, you were in the home run derby last night. Your teammates were here rooting you on. You must have taken 500 swings. So in one word, how did you feel this morning?
Sore. I felt sore, yes, sir.
I knew you were going to say that. All right, you've walked twice. What's it going to take to get something up and out of here today?
You know, that's never the plan, but if I get one over the plate, I'm going to try my best and, you know, see what happens.
All right, go get him.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Guys?
All right, thanks a lot, Brett.
That's the best answer he could have had. You don't want to hear young guys saying, yeah, I'm going to try to lift and separate if I get one down the middle. I was talking to their hitting coach before the game, Tino, and he had a lot of good things to say about Gunnar. Said he's an up-and-coming hitter.
It's something we've said a lot tonight, right? It's a showcase event. Some of these guys will get swing happy. Gunnar really hasn't. He's done a really good job of laying off pitches, and there are scouts, evaluators here who will definitely note that in their notes going home.
Brad mentioned he played quarterback. Same high school as Tim Tebow played quarterback. Decent tradition down there. 1-0, the West still in front here in the bottom of the fifth. Dylan Mass leading things off, the center fielder.
It's a tough task to follow when you're here, Tim Tebow, if you're a quarterback.
Our producer says Chipper Jones, also same high school.
Chipper Jones.
Owen Quinn, the new pitcher. He's pitching for Pulaski this summer. Right-hander out of Indianapolis. And the quick strikeout to start things off.
Perhaps no surprise that he's starting out with a strikeout. He's 5th in the league in strikeouts for 40 Ks. What were you seeing there, Rick?
I think it's deceptive. You know, he got him chased out of the zone right there, threw 2 fastballs right there, so it looks like the hitters aren't getting a good look at it.
1-2 this summer with a 1.93 ERA. Top of the order and Chase Bloomer. Bloomer flew out to right field in the first inning. And he singled in the third. Bouncing ball foul there, 0-2.
Chase Bloomer is 2nd in the league with 43 hits, 11 doubles, 14 extra base hits, 62 total bases. And the other thing I might be most excited to see him in is in the field. He was the skills showcase winner last night. He had 25 points. They were aiming for buckets. You got more points if you got the smaller bucket. You got 2 of the small buckets, 1 of the big buckets. So a really strong, accurate arm for Chase Bloomer as well.
Can't hold up there, so another strikeout. 2 up, 2 down by the strikeout for Quinn.
That had a different look to it than the curveball he threw before. That one was shorter and tighter. Started up, but broke quick.
That was almost vertical. That thing did not move side to side virtually at all. It was dive bombing almost immediately out of his hand, and Bloomer clearly frustrated that he swung at that.
So here's Brody Johnston, the big home run in the first inning. Laser to the third baseman in the third inning.
Yeah, if you're a hitter and you're trying to dial in your sights on where this curveball needs to start, that last one had a lot more break to it sideways than that one.
That's back to the screen. Let's go back to that first inning and see the power displayed by Brody Johnston. Oof. Again, he's yet to play college baseball. Just finished up his high school career.
If you're Coach Corbin at Vanderbilt, you're smiling ear to ear right now, watching that highlight over and over and over again, and salivating at the thought of putting Brody Johnston in your lineup next spring.
You're not kidding.
Fouls that one back.
Scouting report on Brody Johnston, we talked about it a little bit earlier. He's the perfect game All-American at third base, on the same team as Connor Griffin, Bryce Rayner, first-round picks. He had a .596 slugging percentage against fastballs, so it's difficult to throw him heat in this situation. We saw what he got to do with that on that homer.
Big cut there, and he strikes out, but he doesn't get cheated, that's for sure. But how about the inning turned in by Owen Quinn? Strikes out the side here in the bottom of the 5th. The West still leading this one 1-0 as we head to the later innings.
Hey, what a half inning from Owen Quinn. He joins me. We've heard about the swing and miss he gets. You have what is called 100% spin efficiency. Explain that to me. I think we just saw it.
So my ball spins perfectly. Like I have perfect backspin every time on my fastball, and I have really low spin rate. So it looks like a flat fastball, but then it just stays on plane and kind of just has that like rising effect to it.
How much does that frustrate the hitters? How much are you able to tell when they're not able to dial you up?
I mean, it's pretty easy to tell, I feel like, just because they kind of scoot up in the box a little bit, because I don't throw that hard, but I mean, it just kind of gets up on them and it kind of just beats them.
How much fun are you having, though, this year in the Appy?
It's a great time. I'm really glad that I chose to come here, and my coaches from school put me in this league. I love the guys, the coaches, the atmosphere. It's great.
You can't beat a 1-2-3 inning with 3 Ks either.
You can't, no.
Great job by Owen Quinn. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks, Brett. Talk about quick reaction, how you come out of the game and Brett's waiting for you before you can even get to the dugout.
Hey, 3 strikeouts is a great way to get on TV.
Throwing the invisible.
And luckily Carroll's still out there after his 1 pitch to end last inning. They'll let him pitch a little more. Leading things off is Cole Johnson. Johnson to shortstop. Up with it is Swinney across the diamond for the out. Johnson 0 for 3 now. So 1 pitch, 1 out, ends the frame, comes back out here, gets 2 more pitches. Another out.
I will say 2/3 of an inning does look a lot better on this box score than 1/3 of an inning. But yeah, limited pitch count for him. He was just too efficient.
He was very efficient, and that'll do it for Caden Carroll. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with the next pitcher for the West squad. They lead it 1-0. Zach Neville, the new pitcher. He's pitching with Bristol this summer. 12 games. You see no record so far, but a 2.38 ERA for Neville out of Powell, Ohio.
Zach Neville has a really interesting story. 2023, he was at Division III. Then he went to junior college. Now he's going to Miami of Ohio. He's got an upper 80s sinker, but it has a strong whiff rate because it's coming from a lower slot. We were talking about it in the break, Rick. It looks a little like Craig Kimbrell, just a much smaller version.
Yeah, his arm action, the way that he stays behind the ball too, you can tell it has life when it comes out of his hand, is what we saw in the warm-ups.
Jacob Smith now the batter out of Danville.
Yeah, Salem, Alabama native, Central Alabama Community College.
Batting .328 in the Appy League. He's got a .431 on base and .517 slug.
That one sent out to center field. Tracking it is Dylan Mass, and he'll bring it in for the second out.
I'd like to see his spin rate. It's whippy. You know, he whips his arm through the release point, which really gives that ball a lot of life.
Here's Noah Smith, 0 for 2 so far. Did reach base in the 4th inning on that error by Sasaki. Grounded out to second back in the 2nd inning.
And to answer Rick's question, the spin rate on that curveball that Neville got to get that out and that fly out to center was 27.37. So you think about 3,000 being really good. It's in the upper reaches of what a curveball can be.
0-1 pitch to Smith, and he misses 1-1. Brett, what do you got?
You know, this guy's high school coach told him he would never pitch in college baseball. He's been proving people wrong. He's been trying to use that chip on his shoulder. What a story for a guy that didn't have much success at D3 to go to JUCO, and now his dream of being able to pitch at D1. It's quite a bit of overcoming some adversity, to say the least.
Hopefully his high school coach said that as a motivational tactic. 3-1.
I think it does go to show, though, that we live in an age now where results aren't everything in recruiting. It's stuff. It's what can you put out there? What can you show me? What tools do you bring to the table? And then we will mold you as coaches at higher levels, going from D3 to JUCO to, again, Miami, Ohio.
Hot shot, foul ball. Still 3-2. Take another look. Little 2 in. Couldn't quite get the hands in.
Scott Life, I don't think he knows how to throw anything straight. Everything's moving pretty good.
That one just misses for ball 4, just off the outside.
That is the double-edged sword, right? When you do have spinny stuff and you have stuff that's constantly moving, it can be difficult to control it. Guys are going to be off kilter all the time, but if they're able to lay it off, like he did right there, you can work a walk and force Neville into tough situations.
Here's Alexander Wright, popped up to third base in the 2nd inning, singled in the 4th. Takes ball 1. In the East with another base runner. It's been inning after inning that they've been able to get base runners on, but still nothing across. Off and running is Smith, and he's going to be safe. So a runner into scoring position with 2 away.
It's a good job by the runner. It's a good running count. You got 1-0, you got 2 outs. You're trying to get into scoring position. Lefty hitter, it's going to be hard for the catcher to throw. Now a base hit, he scores.
And in a game where the East has no runs, like you were saying before, Tim, like they need something to push the envelope here. Runner at first doesn't really do much for you. Runner in second, now we're talking about a tie game with 1 swing.
Just beat that tag, too. So 2-1 count to Wright. Big cut, 2-2.
Tying run on second as a hitter, this is where you really want to stay short and try to make solid contact. See if you can shoot something through the infield for an RBI base hit.
And Wright is normally that guy. We were talking about this earlier. He has a relatively low whip rate in the Appy League at only 12%, but that had so much movement on it, it was difficult for him to track.
Count goes full, 3-2. Wright's had some clutch hits this summer. He walked it off against Team USA's collegiate national team while playing for the East Select team this summer, and he drops that one into center field in front of the center fielder. Around comes Smith, and he will score, and Wright takes second on the throw. So we are all knotted up at 1 here in the Appalachian League All-Star Game in the top of the 6th. Still a runner in scoring position for the East.
It's hard to hear the communication from up here, but right there the catcher really wants to be on top of that and tell that first baseman to cut that ball. There was no play at the plate, and you want to be able to keep that other runner from getting into scoring position.
I feel like that was a good ability to adjust. We were talking earlier in that bat about Wright swinging through a fastball up. It was tailing away from him. That time he gets right on top of it, shoots it out to the center. Not killer, crazy exit velo on it, just 85.3, but it was supremely effective, doing what he does best, putting the bat on the ball.
A good piece of hitting. And not only was the guy going to be second and safe, but the throw was offline to home, so another reason why you want to yell cut.
That's one of those teachable moments that both managers have been talking about all night with us.
So here's Addison Smith, the number 9 hitter. He's 1 for 2 tonight with a strikeout and a single. East team had been putting runners on every inning. Finally here in the 6th, they get one across. It's 1-1. We have another classic Appy League All-Star Game brewing. 1-2.
I love that breaker. That you saw that going towards the outside part of the plate. I really thought it was going to be a ball, and then boop, drops right in. Addison Smith clearly confused and laying off, and now he's down 1-2.
That one back to the screen, but it bounces right back to the catcher, Francisco.
I think we had a little cross-up misfire there. I think he was looking for a breaking ball, not necessarily the fastball in that situation, the catcher.
They're going to talk it over. Francisco's going to smile on his face. Yeah. Not what I thought I was getting. Oops. No chance to move up for Wright because it bounces right back to Francisco.
I give catchers all the credit in the world for many reasons, but like when you're crossed up like that and you're expecting a breaking ball and then all of a sudden the ball's flying at you at 90 miles an hour, that's a scary situation.
2-2 pitch outside, 3-2. Neville up to 21 pitches in the inning. Comes back to get the strikeout. So a strikeout to end the frame for Neville, but the East gets on the board with the clutch base hit from Alexander Wright. We are tied up at 1 here in the Appalachian League All-Star Game. Bottom 6 here. Okay, here we go.
Welcome to Johnson City, Tennessee, where you can do you.
It has turned out to be a beautiful night in Johnson City, Tennessee. There was talk of rain, but we've seen none of it. And who can we hold responsible for that? Brenda Whitson, Convention and Visitors Bureau Executive Director. You join us now, right? You kept the rain away. You're responsible for all of this, right?
It's been an incredible night of baseball, and I think that the weather has been perfect, the nice breeze blowing, and we're very thankful for that.
We've been coming down here for this game. This is now our 4th year, so we've hit 4 different communities in the Appalachian League, and they've all been amazing, including Johnson City this week. Just talk a little bit about, what you're all about with the Visitors Bureau.
Our role at the Visitors Bureau at Visit Johnson City is to bring people to come here to visit, but then oftentimes when they come to visit, they love it so well that they want to move here. So just yesterday, USA Today ranked Johnson City as the #1 city in Tennessee to live. So I think that, we're just a great place with a lot of wonderful attributes, great outdoors, and great people.
And you see it here tonight, and we've talked about it through this game, that this is the ballpark that gets the biggest crowds in this league, and you can see it here tonight. It's a full house. What is it about this community and that this ballpark draws them in?
I think the fact that Johnson City, the citizens love sports in general, but they love baseball. And I think that what has happened in the transformation of this park has only increased the love of baseball and all the different activities they do. And I think, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that Rocky the Bat Dog is always a big star.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of baseball charm and baseball movies, the movie The Sandlot. So when I came in Monday, the cutest thing in the world, I pulled in past the stadium just to see what it looked like. I haven't been here since 2001. And right outside the left field foul pole is a pool. And it reminded me of Sandlot, lifeguard, all the kids swimming around. Coolest thing I've seen in a long time. Yeah,
it is. And I think that's the thing, too. It's a place where families can come, and it's affordable. And they can have a great experience, and the kids can be outdoors and really have a good time.
And can you talk about how the city has embraced the Doughboys as a team? Because this used to be a Cardinals affiliate. Going back to when Rick played here, 2019 was the last time this was affiliated ball. A lot of people were concerned that crowds would go away, but they've still showed up in droves for this new version of the Appy League.
They have. I think that speaks to the level of what Boyd Sports has done for this stadium and what that whole team has done. And I think the partnership that the city of Johnson City did with Boyd's, showed commitment on both ends. And then the community just embraced that and saw that we had great talent coming in, and it was a great place for families to come and to, get some great baseball, to see these young men coming up through the ranks and never knowing, what their next step could be.
Jarek Hobbs striking out Devin Zyrus to start the inning. Now Cal Sefcik digging in there. We see this ballpark tonight. It's beautiful, and we've heard that before next season, it's going to have a whole new turf surface. So there's a continued investment in what's going on here.
Yes, there is a continued investment, and I think when the entire surface is turfed, that will make a huge difference. We won't be worrying about the R word, only the Thunder word. But I think that will make a huge experience different for the players and for the fans.
Got the R word last night for the home run derby, but it was quick, right? I mean, they cleaned things up quickly and got back to it.
Absolutely.
When you're talking about people come here, they visit, and then they become citizens, they become locals. What do you, when you talk to those people, what are they most surprised by about Johnson City?
I think they're, somewhat surprised about the affordability of living here, the cost of housing, the fact that we do not have a state income tax, and the hospitality. A lot of people will tout that word. We're hospitable, but I think when people come to Johnson City, they see that it's genuine, it's real. And the fact that you can, be in the downtown area, or you can be in anywhere, and in 10 minutes, you're in a city-owned Buffalo Mountain Park that's over 400 acres. So they can hike and have beautiful vista views. And then I think, just moments away from this ballpark is Tannery Knobs Mountain Bike Park. So, you know, that in itself is a great experience. And the fact that we've got so many local restaurants in the downtown area. Within, you know, walking distance, there's probably 36 restaurants and 5 to 6 breweries that are here. And I think that makes a difference for people.
It's very beautiful. I know coming from Florida, Florida is so flat, and to come in here and see the mountains, and there's something very attractive about the southern charm.
Yeah, and I think that's true, Rick, exactly, that in Johnson City you get this 360 view of the mountains no matter where you are and no matter where you turn, you get that.
Sefcik with a base hit to left field, so 1 on 1 out for the West team, and here comes Rocky. And you know, every time Rocky comes out, it's he's cheer.
Oh yeah, he's the big fan. I mean, he's the big draw. I mean, not just the baseball players, but the kids especially love Rocky. They like to have their picture made with him. Even adults, I see that doing that as well.
Mason Swinney, the next batter, popped up to first base in the first, popped up to the catcher back in the third inning. Here he is with a runner aboard. One 0 pitch, inside 2-0. And there he is.
Oh.
So can you tell us a little of the history behind Rocky?
I think, you know, we got started with Rocky last year. And Rocky became truly the rock star. And when the first game, when he came out and when he went out to retrieve the bats, everybody went crazy that this dog had been trained to do that. And so last year when they won the pennant, then they had the special, his own gold necklace around his neck.
I love it. I think it really hammers home the family feel that you were mentioning.
It absolutely does. And, you know, we've got girls here from 13 different states for our USA softball event. And they have all been so excited about Rocky the dog and about the experience of being in this ballpark.
And you bring up that softball event. People are now flocking here to play tournaments, to play, you know, for this all-star game, for sporting events. Has that changed in the last 5-10 years, the way that people come here for things like that?
Absolutely, it has changed. This year, the city made the investment to add 4 additional turf fields at the complex at Wing Deer Park. So we have a total of 9 fields there. 5 are dirt, and then, you know, the 4 that are turf that also have soccer fields there. So it makes it really easy to attract large numbers of teams, and we don't have to go to another city to play unless it's something that is very large.
That ball was ruled foul, bounced down to third base, so Swinney still at the plate.
Have you always been a baseball fan, and what organization do you root for?
I have always been a baseball fan, I guess, since my adult life. And typically, as you can imagine, our location, we're big Atlanta Braves fans. But I love the Yankees in the day that Derek Jeter and all of that group were playing. But, you know, you can't overlook the St. Louis Cardinals as well, and when Mark McGwire was there and all of that group. And so probably just because of the close proximity with Atlanta, just huge Atlanta fans probably in Johnson City and this entire region.
Sure.
Here's Rintaro Sasaki again.
So growing up in Florida, you know, TBS was big for us. So there's a lot of Braves fans down that way too, myself included. I grew up a Braves fan. My kids are Braves fans.
All right, that's good. Yeah.
Cardinals also, because I played there for a long time, of course.
Yes.
But when I was a kid, it was Braves first.
And speaking of that Cardinals affiliation, you know, that went away. The team here adopted Doughboys. Talk about that change and how everybody's embraced that name.
Sefcik coming around from second to score on a scorched single up the middle by Sasaki. Not the home run we thought we might see tonight, but he put speed into that. Here it is again.
That's a good piece of hitting.
That was good. Yeah.
For a high school kid, lefty on lefty. He kept the front side closed, stayed on it, and drove that ball up the middle.
So the West squad back in front after the East had tied it up 1-1. Now 2-1 the game. We get back.
I think that if you think about the names that are in all of the Appalachian League, they mean something to the city. And the Doughboys, located not far from here, there's actually a picture, a statue of a Doughboy. And I think that, the military was always important to us, and then that statue was erected in support of that during the war. And, in the day when we had trains coming through here that were a lot of passenger trains, then, this is where, they got off. But I think that the homage to America and to the military is reflected in, in that Doughboy symbol.
In that regard, what did the Flyboys come from?
I gather from airplanes. That was, typically what you think of are the Flyboys. But I don't know the story behind it.
Okay.
Jaden Lobliner is the batter now entering the game for the River Riders. And he'll pop it up. Out goes the shortstop Smith, and he'll bring it in. The second out. So still 2 on for the West squad, but 2 away now, and that'll bring up Toledo.
And Brenda, what kind of impact is having this game here? It's just one game. There was a home run derby last night, so it's 2 events over 2 days, but this is the big draw. What effect does this have on the region?
I think this has a great effect on, not only our local economy, but I think that it has an effect on the people who live here. That this was very exciting for them to have the opportunity to come and see this level of talent all in one night and get to experience a lot of different things, fun things, just like that, when the MLB All-Star game is, and what excitement that draws, and to think that, they were able to have a home run derby and to do the other things. I think that it gives the similarity of being, really in Major League.
All right, well, the East team is going to change pitchers, so we are going to say thank you to Brenda Whitson for spending some time with us tonight. And we will be back with more from the Appalachian League All-Star Game.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Play Ball is baseball's global youth initiative to highlight the fun and accessible ways to play our great game. To learn more, including how to find a league near you, go to playball.org and follow @playball on X, Facebook, and Instagram. And MLB Together is baseball's platform embodying the sport's philanthropic contributions to key causes and mental wellness. We got a new pitcher in for the East squad as the West tries to add on to this 2-1 lead that they built back up here in the 6th inning.
It's David Stitch. He's coming out of, or he's going to Houston next year. He's transferring from Angelo State in Texas. He also had stops at Temple College and Moorhead State. He'll touch 96, so it's pretty good velocity. Gets a ton of whiffs on his 81 to 84 mile an hour slider that looks like a real frisbee pitch moving away from righties.
That's ripped to left field. Back is the left fielder. Then he comes in and he makes the play. That got a little dicey out there in left field, but at the end of the day, Michael Rodriguez able to make the play and end the inning, and this one stays tight. The West retakes the lead 2-1 as we head to the late innings here in Johnson City.
Hey, back on Friday, one of the top prospects in all of minor league baseball made his debut. Jacob Wilson, how about this? A base hit. How about Dad, too? He's pretty excited later on in the game. Tweaked a hamstring and had to come out right there. Dad standing next to me, and he's still kind of reacting in the debut. No. The reactions were priceless. And I got to tell you what, Jack Wilson, a longtime major leaguer, he got to be Dad. Take me through the emotions of that night.
Yeah, you know what? I was good all the way till I saw him go out and warm up with the big league guys. I think that's when it kind of it made it real. So it's just an amazing moment. A lot of family and friends were able to be there, and obviously just really he got his first ground ball, first pitch of the game. Obviously got his first hit, so everything was going great. And then when he turned that corner around third, I was like, man, I've been there so many times, that hammy, man. So I felt really bad for him, but he's in good spirits. He's healing up nicely.
Yeah, Mom missed it. That was the tough part. But you're the manager at Greenville. I was watching you earlier this year, ninth inning, your team's down 8 runs. You're excited. You're talking to the guys about hitting and how to stand on deck even.
Yeah.
You're into this right now.
Absolutely. I love coaching, and I think this league is amazing, and it's an amazing experience. The talent here is phenomenal, and they're all coachable. They're all here to get better, and so it's fun to be a coach when you're surrounded by young players that really want to get better and get back to college better than when they left. So I'm having a blast.
All right, finally, your team is trying to win an Appy League championship, and your general manager at the trade deadline went out and got a big power-hitting first baseman from Japan.
Yeah.
You weren't here when he arrived at Greenville, but how excited are you to see him for another week?
No, I'm super pumped. I think, I learned a lot about him through social media when it first came out that he was coming to Stanford. It was obviously a different type of path than what we usually get from the Japanese players, so I was excited for him. And then, when they called me and we get the chance to work with him, he's going to be another one of those guys that he wants to soak up information. So I'm going to have a blast with him. I'm just going to let these guys go out and play and have fun, and then, answer as many questions as they can.
Hey, congratulations on your son, and best wishes for this last week of the season.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
That's Jack Wilson, guys. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Brett. The new pitcher, Duke McCarron, is throwing some heat here in the top of the 7th.
He's already touched 95.4 miles per hour. That's what got that strikeout pitch, just blowing it right by at the top rail.
Yeah, Noah Murray, the new hitter, could not catch up with it. Here's Michael Rodriguez.
Just a little bit more on Duke McCarron. He will touch 95. That's something we knew coming into tonight. He's got a low 80 slider as well, both a traditional one and a sweeper and a mid-80s changeup.
Rodriguez 2 for 3 tonight. Grounded out to second base back in the first, singled in the third, big double in the 5th.
When you watch his feet, I feel like this is something that the younger generation is doing more than the older generation, but he'll actually land open. See, his front foot lands open compared to his back leg, which, as a hitter, I feel like it makes it a little bit, it's harder to, it's a little bit funky.
Gets that one in on the hands. It'll go 3-2. His freshman year at Bethune-Cookman, Rodriguez hit .286. And he'll take the walk here, head down to first base in the East with another base runner.
If you watch his lower half here, you can see that front leg lands open compared to where his back foot is.
What does that do for a hitter? Is that just like another distraction, or what do you think that does when you see somebody throw a little bit more unorthodox?
For me as a hitter, I'm not used to seeing it, so I feel like it almost feels like they're going to fly open and the ball's going to fly away arm side, but he gets his hand to his release point and he's able to get it to his glove side, not just on his arm side.
So if you were a pitching coach, would that be something you're trying to fix? Or is it just like, this seems to work for you, let's just leave it be?
The thing that I would be cautious of is, can his front shoulder handle it? Because if that front hip flies open too fast, then you're putting stress on your throwing shoulder. So you really want to make sure that he's doing his exercises and doing testing on that throwing shoulder to make sure it's strong enough to handle it.
Climb the ladder against Callan Moss, and Moss got his money's worth with the cut. 1-1. Drills that one into the gap, left center field, but it'll drift back for the center fielder, and Mass has it. Loud out for Callan Moss.
That was definitely going to be an at-bat where it was power versus power. Callan Moss gets a 93.4 mile an hour fastball. Looked like he got a good piece of it, but it only came off the bat at 82.5 miles an hour. Maybe just missed the barrel.
Good pitch. Got it in there on the inside corner. He didn't let him get extended.
So 2 away, still that runner down at first. Here's Alex Conover at the plate. Big cut. 0-2 to Conover.
Alex Conover, somebody who's transferring to Oklahoma State. He batted .378 with a .508 on-base percentage and a .684 slugging percentage. He had 13 homers at Cowley Community College in Kansas.
Off and running is Rodriguez. A great throw down there from Francisco to get Rodriguez stealing and end the frame. We heard from both managers before the game about how strong the catcher arms were in this one. That's our first chance to get a look at it. Dart down to second base, and it remains 2-1 as we head to the bottom of the 7th.
You're right. We could do it coming back. Tyree. Hey, I'm with Tyree Jackson. He's missing the dugout celebration right now, but he lined out last inning. Some of the phrases I've heard about you, Mr. Clutch, more tools than Home Depot. You're going back to the JUCO ranks for another year, and you can start talking to schools, but you have an opportunity to go to the next level. Give me your elevator pitch for coaches that are watching on what you bring, what you could bring to their team.
The best elevator pitch I could bring to a baseball field is speed. Speed is definitely my biggest tool. But competitiveness and a grinder. I mean, at the end of the day, I want to get better. I want to work hard. I want to win. I want to be surrounded by a bunch of people that want to work hard and want to win. And I feel like that alone is better than any talent that you could have, because hard work beats talent any day of the week.
Oh, I like that. Coaches, you need to get on this guy. Finally, what has this league meant to you this year as far as giving you extra experience against quality pitchers?
This experience has been amazing. This is the best opportunity I possibly could have had. I'm surrounded by amazing talent, amazing coaches, and just to be able to come out here and play baseball at this level every single day is awesome and amazing, and I couldn't be more appreciative of it.
And you might be able to do this broadcasting thing. Hey, great job. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You have a great one.
All right, guys. Back to you.
Thanks, Brett. Stitch still out on the mound there. Dylan Mass leading things off for the West. Strike one, strike two, strike three from Stitch.
Really good tailing fastball that time. That would have been a called strike anyways, just getting right on the black. Not much Mass could do there. Hoping, that swing looked like he was just hoping to foul it off really and stay alive in the AB.
We're going to have a new pitcher. We'll have a new hitter as well, as Nick Arias will come up to the plate, and we will introduce the new pitcher when we come back. The West squad still leads this one 2-1. The East trying to keep it that way.
What? Oh, it's like the only one. Oh.
It's that time of year where teams make their final moves to reshape their rosters before the playoffs. The 2024 MLB Trade Deadline Special. Live coverage of every blockbuster deal heading right down to the wire. July 30th, beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern on MLB Network. Josh McDevitt, the new pitcher for the East squad on this beautiful night in Johnson City, Tennessee. Thank you for joining us for the Appalachian League All-Star Game, the 4th annual edition. The 3 previous editions all won by 1 run, and we are headed in that direction again tonight.
Josh McDevitt, go ahead.
No, you got it.
Josh McDevitt of the Missouri Tigers had a rough spring, allowed 14 earned runs and 13 strikeouts in 11 1/3 innings. He's got a 3.27 ERA with 23 strikeouts in 22 innings so far this summer, playing for the Tri-State Cold Cats. He's got a heavy sinker, an upper 70s slurvish curveball to get whiffs on both, and he'll also mix in an 85 to 88 mile an hour changeup.
Now it's a run deficit, and this is my first time at this event, and I was hearing a couple blips about the tiebreaker. How does that work?
Well, if we're tied after 9 innings, the home team gets to decide if they are going to hit or play the field, and it's sudden death. So if they get out of the inning, they win. And if a run is scored, they lose.
Awesome.
It is awesome.
Now, is this all season?
Yeah.
They play that way?
All season that way. Now, the first one of these Appalachian League All-Star games was actually determined by a home run derby. It was tied after 9. We were in Pulaski. Sam was here with me, and they had a home run derby to decide it, which was great and exciting, but took a little while. This is a very exciting one-half inning guaranteed kind of quick way to end a game, and I think it's awesome.
And the runner starts at first base.
Right.
So there is somebody on base, but they're
There's
not
a
at
threat.
second like you're used to seeing in the majors and the minor leagues. It's everybody gets up for that type of situation. It's either score and win or hold them off and win on the other side.
Now, before you said somebody starts at first, I was already automatically thinking, well, I'm going to play defense.
Right.
I'm going to pitch and play defense.
I was going to ask you what you would do. Would you still do that with the runner at first?
Now that depends on what kind of personnel. Who's my closer? Now, do I have to run the last out, or can I run anyone?
I think you have to run the last out.
Yeah, something
Similar
else
to
to
the major
take
league.
into account is, the runner on first is the last out.
Okay.
So it could be the bottom of the inning, could be the heart of the lineup.
So it depends on who my last out was, what my personnel is, and vice versa for them also.
Nick Arias, the batter now, from Tucson, Arizona, playing for Greenville this summer. His dad, George, played baseball at Pima Community College, and that is where Nick is playing now in Arizona. .333 is batting average this summer in the Appy League. 4 doubles and a triple, 15 RBIs, 5 steals. He fouls that one back. He's heading to Abilene Christian for next year. Leads the league in hits this summer with 45.
You know, I got a chance to play against Jack Wilson for quite a few years. And, you know, what a baseball IQ that he had and he has. And, you know, what a blessing it would be to be an infielder and be able to come here and work with Jack.
Yeah, across the board, when you look at who the managers are in this league and the coaches, it is impressive the amount of major league experience on display.
Imagine going back to school and you're talking to your fellow infielders and they're like, oh, I think you should try it this way. Imagine dropping, well, Jack Wilson told me to do it this way. I mean, that is a selling point for the league, right, is the quality of coaches, is the guys you get to work with, the Mickeys, the Jacks. And Mickey was telling us before, like, he still gets texts from guys he's worked with in the past.
Oh, you know, if I'm one of these players, you know, I get back to school or wherever I'm going. I mean, there's, you know, you're definitely going to keep that relationship and say, hey, I was in this situation here. What do I do? Or what do you think?
And with the proliferation of video, you can send them. It's not just hypothetical.
Oh, 1 the count. He fakes over to first, gets the runner back there. All right, let's take a look at the managers. 2024 Appalachian League with Major League Baseball experience. Rick Adair, former MLB pitching and bullpen coach Tommy Gregg, Todd Steverson, Mickey Tettleton, of course, we've talked to tonight, as we have with Jack Wilson. It's an impressive list. And that shot through the right side by Brody Johnston into right field. Around to third goes Arias, and we got runners at the corners, 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th for the West. Brody Johnston continues to impress.
That should be his 3rd hit of the game, if you think about it. He had that liner to third that was stolen away from him, this time going the opposite way to try to get that second knock.
That's the most impressive one to me. I mean, of course, the homer was nice and he hit the ball hard, but being able to stay back and let that ball get deep and shoot that ball to right, those are glimpses of a pretty good hitter.
He is lining himself up for potential MVP honors at this point. Throw in the nice play over at third base that he made. Here's Devin Zyrus with a chance to put some space between the West and East. Runners on the corner, 1 out here in the 7th.
Brought this up a little bit earlier, but with the runner on third and a runner on first, I wouldn't steal here. I would leave the hole open for him just in case he pulls. So because he's left-handed, he could pull a base hit through there easily.
Bounces it up the middle. The shortstop comes in on it. He'll play at second base, but he gets it over to first for the out. In from third comes Arias. So the fielder's choice gets Arias home, and it's a 3-1 lead for the West.
But I do think there's a lot of people, too, in that same situation who would want to steal to keep the double play out of order, so you could score the run. But for me, with the lefty, I'm going to leave him there and let him pull a ground ball for a base hit.
Johnson able to get down the bag quick enough to take the double play out of play on that. So he'll stay in scoring position for Sefcik.
Sefcik, kind of a bigger dude, 6 foot, not really that tall, but bigger, 225 pounds. You can kind of see him loading it up, aiming for that power.
Sends that one down the right field line. Giving chase is Moss, but no play. Still 0-2. Down low, 1-2.
As a hitter and there's a runner on second, there is 2 outs, so there's no reason to steal third, but sometimes guys will want to go. But if you are a hitter, it's a distraction when you see a guy at second trying to run. So when a hitter has 2 strikes, it's better to just stay put. You're going to score on a base hit anyway.
That's way outside, 2-2.
Even so, I think this is really good blocking and staying in front of it by Jacob Smith. You think about the people who are watching this game, other evaluators. You know, he's from Central Alabama Community College looking to get a D1 opportunity. Imagine if there was a runner at third base right now. If you're looking for a catcher and he's showing he can get in front of it and keep it.
It's a big trust factor with the pitcher, too. If you have somebody back there that you know you can spin breaking balls to, he'll be able to block it and won't let the run come in. Let's pretend that the guy was at third. That's a big deal.
Especially these guys who are just establishing relationships, right? Like these aren't 2 players who have, worked together at all before tonight. They're on different teams. They're learning about each other with each pitch.
Another 2-2 pitch coming. Another foul ball down the right field line. Here's another look.
I was almost out of the left-handed batter's box. He did a great job there. Nice call, Sam.
You could see McDevitt react immediately. Like he put his glove to his face like, oh no, what have I done? And then to have Smith save him like that, I'm sure they're going to be saying nice things to each other when they get back to the dugout.
Sefcik has put together a pretty good night for himself as well. Walked in the first, walked in the third, singled and scored in the 6th. Three to 1 the score here in the 2024 Appalachian League All-Star Game. 2-2 pitch. Runner on second. Bouncing ball up the middle. The second baseman, Nomari, has it. Long throw to first for the out. Nice play by the second baseman to keep the score where it is. So it's still 3 to 1 as the West tacks on a run. We head to the 8th. We'll be right back.
Well, Alex Conover is going to lead off this inning. This is 12-year-old Alex taking hitting lessons from Mickey Tettleton, who is now his manager. Mickey shared that with us before the game, so I immediately went to the clubhouse, found Alex. He found this photo, and guys, to me, it's just a reminder how small this baseball fraternity really can be.
And a tribute to you, Brett, as the always the investigative reporter, going straight to the clubhouse, finding the actual photo, getting a picture of it up to the crew. Awesome job. And Mickey said he didn't remember the moment of 12-year-old Conover, but he appreciated it for sure when he showed him the picture.
Those two have a connection because Alex Conover is committing to Oklahoma State for next year, which is Mickey Tettleton's alma mater.
New pitcher Brady Frederick in, and you've seen it, the submarine delivery.
I have here in my notes submariner in all caps because I was very excited to see what he looked like. It's just a low 80s fastball, but from that angle, we haven't seen anything like it so far tonight.
Dribbler down to third. Long throw for Johnson. Shows off the arm. He's shown off the bat, the reflexes down there, and how about the arm?
I love when guys live up to the scouting report, right? You hear about 60 arm, maybe more than that. He can make all the throws he needs to make. Like, all right, let's see what happens when he gets a ball hit to him deep at third base. No problem.
Another notch for that MVP call.
There it is. It's not a high school mustache either, by the way. That's a college prospect mustache.
It's the Paul Skeens, Gunnar Henderson effect that's coming down here to the Appy League.
He looks like a big leaguer already.
He's playing one tonight. Cole Johnson now up.
Did you ever face a submariner, especially going same side like this?
No, I was righty against. I hit left-handed, so
right.
Steve Cishek.
Right.
Oh, Cishek, yep.
Couple guys. Being the opposite side, you know, if he's righty and I'm lefty, I liked him. But I was a low ball hitter. You know, a lot of times they want to get you out with that sinker. They might show you something high, but they're going back to the sink. And for me, you couldn't throw it low enough.
Did you ever talk to any pitchers that threw it and how it just developed? Like, how do you become a pitcher that throws from that arm slot?
Cishek told me, you know, I was in high school or college, but they were like, hey, I don't know if it's good enough from up here, and maybe you should drop down. And he did. And he said he did it so much that it feels weird throwing from a normal slot.
It's actually more natural, I think, technically, right, to come from underneath.
I wish more guys would do it, honestly. I know we live in an age now where we're talking about induced vertical break, trying to get stuff to the top of the zone, some ride, some sweep, all that kind of stuff. But be weird.
I will say that pitching that way, though, does drag you off the mound. And in that instance, it allowed that ball to get up the middle, right? As far as playing your position defensively as a pitcher.
Sure. But there is a lot to that. And being weird, let's say being different, right? Because guys are used to seeing a certain arm slot. And if you could be a little bit different, it just sets off the timing.
And it's, you know, talking to player development people, a lot of people say everybody throws 95 now in the minor leagues and in the major leagues. You can do anything to have a little bit of an advantage, do it. Be a little bit different than the next guy. That's how you get out.
It's a good life message. Be different.
Be different. I was talking to Bud Smith, who's scouting now, and I played with him. He pitched for the Cardinals, threw a no-hitter. And he was saying when it comes to high school guys, he doesn't even write 95 plus anymore. He writes, can they spot it? Do they know what to do with it? And do they know how to pitch?
Here's Jacob Smith. We saw the cannon from behind home plate last half inning. He seemed thrown off by the delivery on that swing. 0-2. Out to center field. Mass is there, back to the wall, to the track, and he'll bring it in. 2 away.
That's the high rent district in this ballpark.
400 feet and high. What, 40-foot wall, you think?
You got to get, you're not getting any cheap ones at dead center here. You got to get it.
Now, I wasn't here for the Derby last night. Did anybody go out to center?
There are a few guys that tried. Callan Moss was doing best when he was aiming for the scoreboard in left field. Brody Johnston did his best when he was going right down the line towards left field. Gunnar Borey a little bit more to left center himself. I didn't see a lot of people aiming for dead center.
I seen Moss hit one just left of that camera well, which we can call center. It was loud, too.
There we go.
Yeah.
1-1 count to Noah Smith, 21-year-old from Fort Worth, Texas. Got him inside, maybe a broken bat there. Flips it over to Brody Johnson. They'll throw it around, and a no damage done for the East squad again. We're going to head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Still 3-1 West in front at the Appy League All-Star Game. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. We are into the late innings now, bottom of the 8th inning. The West squad's going to try to tack on a little insurance here. The 3-1 lead in the 2024 Appy League All-Star Game, which is, based on the history of this event, a huge lead because it's always been a one-run type thing. Mason Hatcher, the new pitcher, in for the East.
Mason Hatcher, another high school guy coming out of Halifax County High School in Virginia. He's going to Radford next year. He already stands 6'3", 185 pounds, a 0.96 ERA, 28 strikeouts, and 18 2/3 innings.
And he gets over strike one. Mason Swinney at the plate, popped up in the 3rd, popped up in the 1st, and then he walked in the 6th. Fouls that one off, 0-2.
One thing Hatcher does is he sets up on the extreme first base side of the rubber. So if you're looking out towards center field, he's all the way on the right side. If you're looking in towards the catcher, as many of you are on our screen right now, he's all the way to the left side of the mound. Rick, what does that do for him?
That, when he releases the ball starts right in the middle of the plate each time. But he also, like we saw in warm-ups, he's got some really nice run to the arm side with his fastball. So for the hitter, he sees it out of the hand. It looks like it's going to be right down the middle, and then it's running into his hands.
Another 0-2 pitch. Down low, 1-2. Out to right field. Back goes Martino to the wall. and it's out of here. That one caught me off guard. Swinney goes yard in the bottom of the 8th, and it's a 4-1 lead for the West. The ball is carrying here in the late innings.
Mason Swinney, somebody who entered tonight with 5 homers in the Appy League, going to Dallas Baptist next year. That thing just kept carrying and carrying. There's not that much wind here tonight in Johnson City. It's not like that was pushed. I think he just, like we saw earlier with Callan Moss scraping the wall in right field going the opposite way. Mason Swinney has some power, normally goes gap to gap, but he's obviously got oppo power too.
He even seemed surprised right away when he looked up, and then he kind of noticed where it was flying to, and he put on the burners, which he didn't need.
It seemed like he got pretty good barrel on it. It was pretty loud up here.
So 4-1, and here's Sasaki again. Big cut. Sasaki 1 for 3, had that hard single up the middle back in the 6th.
It's almost a curse if the guy in front of you hits a home run. He's young. You know he wants to show off his power. He's got a ton of pop.
0-2 pitch. Ooh, up high in the zone, but he catches the strike zone. So Sasaki goes down looking. 2 strikeouts for him on the night, along with that big single.
Yeah, Rick, you were talking about the great power from Sasaki. Here's that single back up the middle. It came off the bat at 107.7 miles per hour. That's the 2nd highest exit velo of the night so far, behind only Brody Johnson's liner to third. That was 110.3. So even though we're not probably going to see a Rintaro Sasaki home run tonight, we still got a little peek at what made him so good overseas in Japan.
And that's drilled to left field, and that'll get down and run into the corner, around first and into second base with a stand-up double. Jaden Lobliner.
That was just a breaking pitch that never really got to the outside corner, just stayed hard of the plate. Good job by Lobliner, hooking it down the line, just staying fair out towards that 330 marker. Lobliner was somebody I had circled as somebody to watch tonight just because he's coming from Kansas State. We talked about Kalen Culpepper in the open. Culpepper went from the Appy League to Kansas State to the first round. Lobliner's going to San Diego next year, but he hopes to follow a similar trajectory going from K-State to a high draft pick when he's eligible down the line.
All right, you mentioned Culpepper. Well, we can hear from him right now as they take a break and bring in a new pitcher here in the 8th inning.
My name is Kalen Culpepper, and I play for the Bluefield Ridge Runners in the Appalachian League.
With the 21st pick of the 2024 MLB Draft, the Minnesota Twins select Kalen Culpepper, a shortstop from Kansas State.
There's way more in this young man than he even showed in college.
He was good in the Appalachian League back in the summer of 2022. This year, things really clicked.
The Appalachian League was one of the best leagues. It's sort of like a minor league schedule. You play every day, you travel, with uniforms, coaches, all the stadiums were pretty nice. It was a great experience.
And there you go, Kalen Culpepper, first rounder, number 21 out of Kansas State, but 38 picks overall in the draft out of the Appalachian League this year. Aiden May goes number 70 to the Marlins. Daniel Egan in the 3rd round out of Presbyterian College goes to the D-backs. And you see Rodney Green Jr. to the A's. The Padres got Kavaris Tears. The Pirates go with Will Taylor in the 5th round. And the D-backs, another Appy League player, they get 2, Connor Foley in the 5th round. Just shows you how this league is continuing to develop and get better and better each year.
I just think it's going to get more popular and more popular. It's a great place to be. We're here. Great stadiums. And I think the kids should play. I think you need the reps. I think, you know, when you're at the stage that they want, especially in the summer, you want to get as many reps as possible, and you don't want guys to leapfrog you who are out there getting reps.
Yeah, you look at somebody like Kavaris Tears. He didn't play very much in his first 2 seasons with the Vols. Comes out for them this year, gets a lot of playing time, And the reason why he stayed fresh was playing in the Appy League. Obviously stays fresh, like I said, goes to Tennessee, produces in his junior year, not only gets a significant draft pick, helps them win a national championship. He was a significant contributor for them all the way until Omaha.
Kobe Cushing is the new pitcher. And I remember 4 years ago when we were here for the first All-Star game, and a lot of the chatter was, yeah, we just have to get the word out. We just have to let people know. The talent level wasn't quite there yet in that first year, but there was really a confidence that it would get there. And they brought up like, hey, we want to compete with the Cape Cod League. We want to be that type of league.
And even if it doesn't become the Cape Cod League, I mean, you think about the Cape League, it's for a lot of rising juniors, guys who will be draft picks next year. This could be that step to the Cape League. And that's a significant step in its own right. Come here, if you're Brody Johnson, come here before you go to college. Or if you're some of these other guys, come here out of JUCO, go to a bigger program, go to the Cape, then you become a first-round pick. That's what Kalen Culpepper did. He was in the Cape this time last year, and that set him up for what he did with the Wildcats.
Well, just like Tony Vitello mentioned, you have so many colleges around here that in close proximity that these guys could almost stay on campus and still come here and play.
Tyree Jackson back up again. We heard from him. Brett talking to him a little earlier in the game. Down 0-2. And Cushing will get the strikeout.
Good pitch up in the zone.
He's got this almost closer-like delivery to me. It's a little bit of a double pump. It's a little out there. If it's going to work, he needs to do it in shorter stints. But it can be vicious, even with a low 90s fastball topping out at 94 and a low 80s sweeper. You know, if you want to make all those movements in short stints and be effective that way, go for it.
Just a .61 ERA this summer.
Now he stands on the other side of the rubber, on the arm side of the rubber. And as a pitching coach, I like that better. I like when guys use those angles. Guys aren't used to seeing different angles like that coming from the side. So for me personally, I like that.
Dylan Mass 0 for 3 so far tonight with a couple of strikeouts. Take a look at that delivery.
That's another one of those deliveries. We were talking about that before with the Submariner. I kind of wonder where that comes from. Is it just from watching video and be like, this feels cool, this feels right? Did somebody teach him that? You know, it's so unique and unorthodox. I just wonder where it comes from. Could you foresee that being something that's taken away from him down the line?
The only thing I would be careful of is you see his hand when it comes out. Okay, so look at the window where his hand when he double pumps. You can see his hand, and if you could see different grips, then maybe. Let's see right here. You can see his hand, but the hitter has a clear view of that hand when he goes to pump it into the glove. So if there was a chance that you could see a different type of grip, which would alert you to a different pitch than the fastball, then possible.
Yeah, the only person I've heard changing their grip mid-delivery was Pedro Martinez. I don't think Pedro Martinez is throwing like this. And I don't think he's Pedro Martinez.
He had those freakish
anyway.
fingers, too,
right?
right?
Yeah.
That allowed him to do it. Nick Arias fouls one right back at us.
I was talking to Adam Kennedy, who faced Pedro when he was in his heyday, and he's like, you know, I sat on a changeup and still swung through it. Said it was like Bugs Bunny.
Arias walked and scored in the 7th. Sends that one to right field. Going to be some trouble down there. It drops foul, though. About 2 feet foul.
Now, as a hitter, how long would it take you to pick up what the grip is? Could you do it on the first pitch? Would it take a few sits in against a guy to know this is the way he holds his curveball, his slider, etc.?
It wouldn't take long, especially with the video technology you have these days. I'd watch 5 pitches you know, 5 fastballs, 5 sliders, 5 curveballs, and see what I could see that's different. Now, sometimes video is different than being in the box. You just have to go up there and make sure that it's true when you're in the box, and then you would have something.
That's popped up in the infield. Second baseman coming over to play it. Noah Murray has it for the 3rd out, so it'll stay 4-1. But the East squad coming up, last chance to stay alive here in the 2024 Appy League All-Star Game. We'll be back with the conclusion.
Hey, welcome back. I'm with the home run hitter, Mason Swinney. He's going to take a ground ball right here. You know, Mason, you've had a big power year, but is it extra special to get an all-star home run?
Oh, yeah, it's really cool. I'd missed one, you know, first at bat, and then this is a super cool event, so, yeah, it's obviously, it's very cool.
What's this league meant to you?
Oh, it's great. This league's been amazing. I didn't realize how good it was coming in, and the competition side's been really good and really beneficial for me, so it's been really good.
Hey, DBU's a great baseball program. How excited are you to get there in the fall and start a new journey?
Oh, I'm really excited. They, the way they develop, and always a great program throughout the years, so I'm excited to get going with them, and hopefully a new chapter for me and get going for them.
All right, let's get 3 outs.
Sounds good. Let's go.
All right, guys, back up to you.
Let's take a look at that homer again from Swinney. Oppo got the bat, got the extension, and there it goes. Giving the West team a little bit of insurance here late in the game, 4-1 as they try to wrap things up. Brock Toney on the mound to try to close it out.
Brock Toney having a great Appy League, a 1.21 ERA, 0.90 whip, 39 strikeouts, only 8 walks in 22 1/3 innings. His fastball tops out around 94 miles an hour. It'll average 91 to 92, but when I was looking into him, I saw a lot of swing and miss on that fastball, dug a little deeper. He gets a ton of induced vertical break, up to 24 inches in his most recent start. He also has a sinker, a curveball that gets high spin rates, a slider, and a changeup. But it's really that four-seam fastball that looks like it's riding at the top of the zone. Normally we talk about induced vertical break. Anything above 17 is pretty good. When he's up to 24, it can look like it's absolutely taking off towards the top level zone.
It'll be Alexander Wright, Addison Smith, and then the top of the order for the East squad. Last chance for them, 4-1 the score here in the 9th inning.
It's good managing. You know, lefties are typically low ball hitters, and you got the first 2 guys are lefty. You talked about how good his high fastball is. Let's see how he uses it.
East team up on the top step. Like to see a rally hat in there, rally cap. Do you have a preferred rally routine?
You know, in the big leagues, it was they don't really let you go all sideways hat for the rally.
No?
No. Still representing the team,
yeah.
You know? Speaking of Adam Kennedy, I enjoyed the rally monkey of the Angels.
1-2 the count to Wright. He's had a nice night for himself, 2 for 3, couple of singles, and the RBI for the East squad. No backwards hats yet.
There you go, Sam. You called it. Four-seam fastball, invisible.
What did I say about Brody Johnson earlier? I love it when guys live up to their scouting reports. Well, Brock Tony doing the exact same thing. They're going with the bread and butter to get the strikeout.
Here's Addison Smith, struck out twice, and he has a single back in the third inning.
Did it just get brighter on the field, or was that my imagination?
Turn the lights up to another level.
Help him see that four-seam fastball at the top of the zone.
Fouled off into the catcher's mitt. 0-2.
A little more context on that fastball against Alexander Wright. 94.5 miles per hour. That was Tony's fastest pitch so far of the night when he got it. Then he just touched 95 on that foul tip. So he's building into something here as the inning goes along.
Go right back to it. Ooh, that's a strike. He missed the catcher's glove, but that's a strike. You know, we talked earlier in the day about an automated strike zone. I think that's where maybe that would come in handy, where sometimes if you don't hit the catcher's glove, they don't give you the call, but that was a strike.
Another punch out for Tony. 2 up, 2 down here in the ninth.
Addison Smith just trying to make contact with it, maybe poke it the other way, swings right through it.
Noah Murray, the last hope for the East team. He struck out back in the 7th. Off the inside of the bat, maybe broken to the shortstop, and Swinney, of all people, brings it in to end it. And that's the ball game. The West comes out on top 4-1 in this one. We've had one-run games the last few years. This one's still highly competitive. Some great baseball on both sides of the plate. I think really well played overall. No sloppiness really for the most part, just overall good baseball tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see a little bit of power, right? We got to see 2 home runs. We got to see ball hit 110 miles an hour. We got to see Sasaki do his thing with a 107-mile-an-hour shot up the middle. There was still a lot of really good pitching. The fact that we only saw 5 runs tonight, some good situational pitching. I mean, if I'm these all-stars, I'm pretty happy with the show I put on the field.
Yeah, agreed. I thought it was clean baseball. Nothing to complain about. I think the hometown kids showed up and showed off. And it was fun. It's fun. It's good to see the future, as we talked about. And it's neat that they get to be here in this situation, get the reps, get better at game, and like you said, have an amazing coaching along the side of them, being able to teach them along the way.
They're getting ready for the MVP presentation down on the field, and then we're going to hear from the MVP after that as Brett sets up and finds his spot. This event continues to, I think, impress. This is the biggest crowd we've ever had for one of these. The weather held off. The home run derby continues to be a success the night before, and just every year the talent level is better and better. And it's true for the whole league, but I think it translates to this game too, where each year maybe we're seeing the velocities are a little higher, the exit, all around the metrics are better.
Yeah, credit to the league for bringing in better players, right? But also credit to the players for wanting to participate in this league. Seeing guys like Kalen Culpepper and Jordan Leisure, whose name we haven't said tonight, who got to be on a Major League opening day roster and become the first Appy leaguer to crack the show. There's more coming, and these guys are going to go back to their college campuses, some of them new ones as they transfer, and tell stories of the Appy League and say, hey, listen, I really developed as a player. Here's what I was doing at the beginning of the summer. Here's where I am now. I'm a better player because of this league. You can be too. And then that spreads from coast to coast, and we get better and better and better players coming to this every year. I mean, think about the stories that Sasaki's going to tell when he gets back to Stanford in the fall.
Rick, you played in this league when the Cardinals were the team here. Now it's a very different thing. What do you think about the comparison and how fun this is?
Yeah, I think it's important. I think at the stage that these players are here at in their career, being able to get the reps over the summer. We mentioned it during the broadcast, but you want those to propel yourself, and you don't want guys out there getting reps that you're not getting, especially the fact they're able to play against really good talent is just going to make you that much better.
All right, and we have an MVP. No surprise here. Brody Johnston, the high schooler headed to Vanderbilt, had a heck of a day. Let's go back to the first inning, the big home run. That got things started, got the West in front. Then some defense as he went up high to bring that one down and end a rally. Then he goes the other way with a base hit to right field. He showed off the defense. He showed off the bat. He did it all in this one. How about the arm from deep third base across the diamond for the out? And he is your 2024 Appalachian League MVP.